This is our 2006 trip. I did not plan to start videoing today, and it's dark. I was going to do this at Inaminka when we were joined with other friends, but we've had a bit of a disaster. We're actually at Lee Creek and our fuel tank has cracked, our spare fuel tank. And diesel has just filled the whole ute, got into the clothes bags, absolutely a wash everywhere. And the people in the service station have been very kind, and we've got some, I don't think we can even see them in this poor light. We've got some old cooking oil drums that we are siphoning our fuel into. We've already used a water container and a bucket back where we're going to be camping, and we're trying to salvage what fuel we can. We just put in $100 worth of fuel in our sub tank, so we were full anyway, and this was full from home, so a bit disappointing, and we were tired and it's a bit of a pain, but we're going to have to work out how to get this tank welded or ferroprate or whatever, and we have to just try and salvage whatever diesel that we can. And believe me, it smells. It's gone over everything. But these things are sent to try us, and we will prevail. And it's about 7 o'clock at night in Lee Creek. We are the next day, and this is what we've had to do with our paper that we got from the service station to try to sop up the diesel that's gone all underneath everything.
Well, that's our reserve tanks, full of diesel.
Yeah.
Salvage some.
Where's this crack? We couldn't see in the dark when we tried to look.
Yeah, it's very hard to see, but it starts there and goes up to about there.
It's a fine... Actually, I think I can see it. It's like a little hair line.
Yeah.
What
We'll try
a
and get it
mongrel.
repaired at Alice Springs if we can. I'll ferroprate it.
And they're oil drums from the cooking oil, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we've rearranged. I tried washing out all Jeff's vests. Every one of them, nothing will come out. Lucky I bought about 5 or 6, so now they're rags. And a pair of overalls to separate things, and I washed his bag out and I washed under my bag, and most of it's come out, so we're still going to use them. Hello, big fish.
We're at Inaminka, and we've got a Port Power fan come over for breakfast with us.
And there's one of the crows over there.
And the dirty crows over there keep you awake at early hours in the morning. And it's blowing a gale here. It's shocking. Yeah.
Leonie and Kevin.
Yeah, Leonie and Kevin there. Been in a bit of a mess up, I think. I think the couple of yogurt containers might have gone west. We're hoping this wind will sort of die down in the end.
This weather is shocking. The wind keeps blowing, the dust is shocking. We're walking towards a dig tree of Birken Wills to see what we can find. I think this is meant to be the dig tree on the banks of the Cooper. Standing under the dig tree. Cannot believe the wind. Have a look at that water, really getting whipped up the waves. This is a tree next to what I thought was the dig tree. This is up at the entrance to the dig tree, or you know, the park, and the fella's got a problem with the tyre. He couldn't get the totally flat tyre off his vehicle, Kevin's lent him the toolbox and Jeff's helping him. It looks like Jeff's pumping his tyre up.
I know, Jean, you don't have to...
We're heading towards Burke's Grave, and this part of the river looks beautiful.
Funny way to be buried, sort of sitting there and then they surround you with concrete, isn't it?
They're surrounding the grave with wagon axles.
You put your wheels on there and got out of
This one's 1882.
This is Kalyamurra waterhole, which wasn't that far from Burke's Grave. We've noticed it's flowing very fast, which means there could be rain further up. We've heard there's some rain coming, so we're going to be watching and waiting and seeing what happens. I think we better put HF on and find out what's happening.
Weeks ago, and now he said it's starting to go down, but they're expecting another surge to.
So with that rain...
Residues of the diesel leak. Cleaning up to do, I think. 3.5 inches of rain last night, and we have all the vannies waiting to go at Inaminka. The roads are a mess, sludge and slush. We were quite dry in our camper, but it's really yuck, and we found out that our hubs are not in lock properly. Something is wrong from the service we had at the... Well, I don't understand what happened, but I couldn't get this video to work. Now it's working. Jeff has pulled apart this freewheeling hub because it had been put together wrongly by Toyota when we paid for a $700 service, which they said we had to do for it to stay in its warranty. But Jeff's pulled it apart, fixed it. Kevin had some problems with his and he's fixed his. And we have got Carl and Jenny.
Jenny's put on weight.
Yeah.
5 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually hiding that camp pole.
And Leonie and Kevin and Jeff and
Oh,
me.
your camera stopped working.
And we're underneath an awning because all the roads around have been shut, but Jenny and Carl made it through. They got up at 4:30 this morning with a few drops of rain and just drove for hours and hours, and they had to go down to the causeway to clean the car because it was such a mess. So you're happy to be here, guys?
No.
Yeah, very relieved. So,
Gee, what does such a mess mean?
what do you mean?
Well, how did you know
Because
before you
our
ate
car
it?
was such a mess. What's that mean?
He hasn't had enough sleep, it's obvious. We had a beautiful campfire last night, the first one we've had since we left home. And then through the night it got blowy again, we've had a bit more rain. Just about all the roads leading out of Inaminka are shut, except for this one which goes to Cordillo Downs and Birdsville. It does look a bit threatening. They said if they had their way at the shop, they would have shut it because it's not good condition at all. They say there's lots of people stuck out there and all that, but we decided instead of staying in Inaminka, since it's set open, we would continue on and get as far as we could to Birdsville. Oh, a bit spewy, a bit messy. No problems though.
Okay, Jean's just going to do a video over.
What a mess. We just slid all over the place, a whole lot of us. This is really muddy, spewy stuff. We started off not in four-wheel drive and thought, well, I think we better put it in because we're sort of going sideways a bit. very messy. Whoa, sideways again. It's real slushy, sloppy muck. You can't see it so well like that, but trust me, it's soupy mess. Looks like Kevin's got a problem with his four-wheel drive as well.
I would keep to the hard right-hand side of here. Keep one on the...
We've just got through all this. Kevin's coming through. She is very soft. We're still moving. Everything's going fine. We've got a guy that's tagged along with us. He did ask, so tell them to keep their momentum up, Jane.
Keep your momentum up.
Here's our mate coming sideways. So we all got through.
Where is he? Oh yeah, he's running away. Got a dingo out the window here. We've come to the place where everyone turned around. That's where they all stopped. Sure about this. This is pretty boggy stuff. Quite deep, I'd say. Kevin and Leonie have got a strap onto Carl and Jen just in case they get a problem, because they've got a problem with their four-wheel drive, and this is a very sloppy, muddy, crappy bit. It's not to be pulled across, it's just to help him a little bit. It's a dreadful bit here. It's a bitterly cold wind.
Got the momentum to get through
Bitterly
now.
cold wind this is. It's a shocking bit here. Come on guys, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. Come on guys, don't stop. Yes, hallelujah. Well done. This is very deep here, so we're looking through this diversion. We're going to have a go. There's another dingo out here, coming away from a big boggy water hole.
Look guys, I'm going to try through the water.
Oh, is he? Oh
Yeah, I
man.
tried one before, all I did was clean the car.
The birds like the rain anyway. And this is our shields. Everything has got covered in mud, because this is the stuff we keep going through all the time. Turn this in. Kevin's got problems with his front wheel hubs. He has to put them in and out all the time. Use it only when he needs to. There's thousands of these birds. Yes, something's gone wrong with Kevin's front locking hubs. So when he needs four-wheel drive, he has to put the hubs in lock. As soon as he doesn't need it, he's got to take them out. So if something needs adjusting, there's a funny noise when he puts his hubs in. We've got our bush mechanics on the job here. On Kevin's car, fixing something in there so that the four-wheel drive can be locked in and work.
Gee, she's on hard.
We've been going through mud. It's like on everything. This couple joined us, Ian and Carolyn.
Kitchen's on the side.
We stopped to have lunch. It's gone 3 o'clock and we were starving, but we've come through such horrific stuff. We just needed to get as far as we could. It looks like they're really still working on Kevin and Leonie's car. Hopefully they'll soon have it right. I can't see too well out of my window. Here we are, we're working on two of them. One wasn't right, so we're pretty sure the other one isn't. So we're going to work them both on. Fix them both up.
What I say happens to me. The cog being
If I had a hammer.
didn't look right before. You'd have a peg on your nose.
I'm not going to drive through any waterfall.
Unbelievable! Who's that?
No, not
Melbourne, I'm thinking.
She thinks she's in Melbourne. This is Jenny. I said, you look like you're going to rob a bank, girl. I think we've nearly fixed this. Kangaroo taken off in front of us there. Can't hold him still, actually. Because we've been going through a bit more water in there. Unbelievable. we've pulled up to get shelter. And some crazy has got a fire on his bonnet. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Unbelievable, warming his belly and everything. And we're trying to get our fire going here. Once it gets going, it'll be a real beauty, but everything's a little bit damp. I wonder why. But the troops got organised and got all the wood, so we're going to have a roaring fire tonight.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, here we are another day. Another lot of mud and that, but we got sun this morning. We camped part way along the track and we are expecting to get to Birdsville today sometime in a roundabout way.
Pouring out the
The vehicle that was with us, the water has come out of their radiator, I think, and they're overheating, so we have to find out how to fix it.
What?
Taking a bit of diesel out of our tank and popping it into that for them to use it. We know it's cheaper in Queensland, and we didn't count on the extra 100 k's to get to Birdsville, so we're sharing a bit of fuel.
Actually, if
Still
you leave
filling
both
it.
your canopy doors open, you might lift up a bit.
Yeah.
Get over the mud.
Get out there and flap them like that.
Leave the side doors open.
It means those canopies, doors. This is the deep crossing that it said on the map that we were wondering whether we were going to get through it. Yep, here we go. Someone spoke on the radio, that's why this little bit before is chopped off. But yes, this was the deep crossing, we weren't too sure about it. It said it can be impassable, so yeah, quite deep. But we've made it no problem, so nothing should really stop us now.
No.
Should be able to get to Birdsville no matter what. There's a bit of sliding going on. This is a bit sloppy. Mucky, sloppy mush. This is a bit of a challenging part. Very slippy and slidey and thick. Come out of the blue, really.
Just level it off now.
Yeah.
Comes off.
The last one we went through, we forgot to slip it back into four-wheel drive. We sort of slid around a bit. I think we're going to be sliding around a bit in this too, churning it up, and tried to get down there and it didn't really work.
We're over there at the tank.
Cattle yards.
Reservoirs.
Come on! just took our hubs out of lock. I don't know what Carl's doing over there.
What happened on
Just
this?
laughing. I missed it. What happened? Oh man, I can't believe it. We all took our hubs out because we thought we'd save fuel. He's choking from laughter. God. Oh boy, he's going to try to drive out now. He's put the hose in lock, but he's awfully locked in there. There's no way he's going to get out of that. No. No, he's just drinking.
Probably just come out there and pull you.
You got a glove, Jenny? You need a glove?
Got a tab at the back.
Jen's
so the
trying
strap doesn't come back
to
off.
hook on the solid snatch strap. It's not really a snatch strap, it's a solid thing that Jeff carries around. Used on the wall. He's hooked it. He's got to get off now. I'll hook it up there.
Right, just slowly forward, Jeff. 3, 2, keep going. 2, keep going. 1, a little bit more. Add more.
After all that we came through, I cannot believe on this developmental road that Carl gave way to some other people oncoming, moved over a fraction. We'd just taken our hubs out of lock. He had hold of the microphone, speaking to us, and suddenly it just took him sideways and he wasn't going to roll it, so he just got really bogged. Yeah, that's muddy. Oh boy, that's going to take some washing. This is Carl trying to wash a lot of that mud and muck off of his wheels. He's got a solid base here, fairly clean water, and we all thought, because we're so caked with mud underneath, we might give this a go ourselves. Because I don't think they're going to be impressed with us going up to the car wash the way we've been, but this is a brilliant idea. Absolutely brilliant. That's pretty fast flowing actually. He's going to try and get that mud off of his feet and his hands. We're all having a turn at washing our cars. Going through the car wash. Whoops, it didn't go over the bonnet like I thought.
No.
Once more, zooming through the car wash. Whee-hee! Going up round everywhere, oh that will really help. It's a fairly big watery bit on this developmental road, but apparently the bottom is solid. We've had widespread rain, and the young fellas that joined us for the last little bit back there told us that they got on the sat phone and they rang, and Inaminka, where we left yesterday morning, has had a lot more rain and no one's going anywhere out of it. So we're very fortunate that we did keep coming, even though some of us were a bit worried about what we were going to find when we did. It's quite a big one for this road. about 80 k's from Birdsville, and the water is out on the edges in sheets. We haven't been able to wash the windscreens and or the edges of the car, the windows, with very much clean water, but it's just out there for miles. And it's still slushy and muck in many areas, and this is the developmental road. And there's graders behind us working on it, so it must have been pretty bad. We don't know what we're going to find at Birdsville yet. We're hoping to maybe stay, and we want to get fuel for sure, because a couple of us haven't got a real lot. Yeah, so they've had a lot of rain, and we heard that it's still raining at Inaminka. Here we are, back in Birdsville again. Finally got across, had a beautiful meal in the pub last night, slept pretty good in the caravan park. Yesterday most of the roads were shut in this town. Today all the roads are open, which is a good sign for us. Quite happy about that, because we can get across the Simpson. Wish the wind would just stop, because it just hasn't stopped blowing, it seems, almost for days, apart from a couple of hours here or there. And we've just organised a welding job to be done on our fuel tank, and hopefully that's in a few days once we've crossed the Simpson at Alice. And Carl's got to do something for his Nissan. I don't know, quite sure what. You want to say anything, Jeff?
We've got the organisation 8 a.m. on Monday. We've got to de-gas it. Just got to clean it out. We'll have to see what's it out in the car, of course. Monday, back, and we should have the range then.
Okay, we're just leaving Birdsville, having a look at the water hanging around all the roads. They said the roads are open today, but we came over a little bit of a dune there on the road, and guess what? We're back to it again. That's the road in front of us. They've had so much water. We're so fortunate we kept pushing on, even though it took 2 days to get out of Inaminka. It's just around us. I don't think it's that deep. I'm hoping it's not. Feels all right, doesn't it? Whoops.
You don't even need the hubs in cabin over.
Oh, but it's fine, isn't it?
Are you interested in having
We're
this book on
waiting.
your lap for this trip, Jane?
Waiting for an oncoming to finish this bit.
Jeff and Jean just about to go through a bit of a sludge bowl here. We're 20 odd K out of Inaminka, heading for Big Red. Oh well. And there's Big Red heading for Big Red. Looks like a pretty basic crossing. Of course, it has to be basic if the cruiser gets through. Hardly looks like he's moving from here. There's Leonie and Kevin. We'll jump on behind them. We'll see over there.
All drive just in case. It seems quite solid here and it's not getting that deep at the moment over.
Slipping a little bit now and again. No way would we
It looks
leave
a
the
bit better
road.
on the right.
Watch the windscreen, please.
Hey, what was that, Jeff?
Looks a bit better on the right over.
We're doing a video up on Brig Red. That's Jenny and Carl. Whoops, we got water coming down the windscreen in the middle of our video. That was very easy. We're thinking this has very much changed. We had a radio transmission and they said this is Little Red. Well, we didn't think it looked like Big Red. We thought it must have changed. So yeah, makes sense. That was a mongrel to get on to the bottom of Big Red. I've never seen it like this in my life. The one for us, by the look of it.
Kevin's having a crack at Big Red.
The rally driver kicked in. On the top of the sand dune, look what we saw. The whole thing is one big lake. There's big boggy marks all round us, and we are just going to plod through the middle. Hopefully it's the right call. This is incredible. I've never seen a Simpson like this in my whole life. It's just a big bog. From one sand dune to the next. Word stop, keep there, Carl. Bit slidey here. Oh boy, very slidey here.
Tell them there's a detour. Oh. It looks like there's a detour coming out from the right, over.
I feel like I'm in a lake. Hope it doesn't get any deeper. Can't see anything. It's better. Unbelievable. Can't believe this, but we made it, not a problem. Don't know how deep it got though. Whoa ho. Glad to be out of that. We went through the middle of that and we felt like we were dragging on the bottom, so the grooves are pretty deep, so we said go left. Somehow they're on the right, I don't know what happened, but Kevin and Leonie are a little bit stuck, but Carl's going to pull them out, no problem, and we're just here waiting to see what we need to do, but I'm sure it will be soon, they'll be out. Here we go again. Oh. I think they tried again and they got bogged again. Okay, then Jeff's found another little spot which they can do once they get pulled back again. They're having fun today. I gotta hook up the snatch strap again. It's not a bouncy one, it's just a straightish one, or an unelastic one.
Okay, 3, 2.
Okay, we got him out this time. Got to try and see how we get through again. The end of another day. We've pulled up. We have made the most beautiful fire. It's still pretty windy. Unfortunately, the Simpson does this to us constantly. And we've set our camp up on level ground, ready to pop the top. And Carl has a slight problem with his vehicle, which he's working on. He's got this squealy noise or something at the back. He's pulling off the brakes and taking bits of greasy muck out of the brake pads, which he had replaced, I believe. They're pretty new looking. And the car's in bits. So we got to video a Nissan in pieces again. Look, he's working on that bit. And he's fixing his little problem.
No, it's not. It's sharpening scissors.
It was... Oh yeah, it had to...
I just needed a sharpening block for my scissors. They're blunt.
So he's got his little Nissan in pieces. But he's on to the problem. It was squealing.
That's better. I can have a shave now.
Okay.
Just
What a good idea. Get hold of Jeff.
All right, can you turn it off now, please? I've got to do my bikini line.
Oh my goodness. Carl's being very rude.
That was my next guess.
He's been very rude to some lady that is really leading this trip. And what? Freaking out on every...
Are you guys all right back there?
Yeah, just doing some preventative maintenance so we can recover some more vehicles, over.
Oh, what a liar.
Oh, how funny is that?
Yeah, what a liar.
That lady kept saying, oh, what are we going to find? So he gets on the radio and he goes, sand, a couple of grains of sand, maybe a little hole, maybe some more sand. She goes, oh no, water. He goes, that was my next guess. I'm actually using up this last bit of tape, but it keeps flashing 0.00 and it's been doing it for a couple of minutes, so
How naughty.
I'm in luck. So what's your problem, Carl? Quickly tell us before the tape runs out. What are you
I
doing?
just had a stone caught in the brakes and it was rocking in and out and squealing.
Okay.
Because it was squealing so and it was panicking so much, I thought I'd release it, give it a new
Good.
lease on life.
Well, it was a bit irritating, I
Let it go
suppose.
and join all the other grains of dirt out in the
Yep. I guess it was a bit irritating, eh?
Yes.
But it might be a long way from home.
I think so. I thought those people might come back after those sneaky or silly comments you made. What did you think, Leonie? Did you think they were going to come back and have a piece of us?
Oh, no. They'd be struggling to turn around.
They probably thought we were drunk.
You're right.
They
How do you
probably-
turn around when there's water and sand?
They could have thought we were drunk yobbos or something and thought, oh, it's just as well to ignore them. They thought we had a major problem, but it was kind of them to think.
I don't think they've been doing much of that, Gene.
We've been listening to them for a while, though, and they've been panicking a bit.
You've shut up, Carl. You've
You put them off?
made them change channels or shut up.
That's right. Jenny, you're used to all this nonsense, aren't you? Luckily, I did see that big log. You thought I was going to walk into it, didn't you? Jenny dug the hole and grabbed loads of wood. A few people grabbed big loads of wood too. Big chunks like that. We're going to have a roaring fire tonight. We're going to have coals and nice veggies on coals. I think I'm going to have tandoori chicken.
We're assuming at this point, because we're getting a squeal, that this bearing isn't too healthy. At the moment it feels okay, but there is a chance maybe there's something in there just screeching metal to stone or something like that.
So you're
Or
going to pull it
bearing
apart or what?
shape. We're pulling it apart.
You had to take that whole thing out to get to the bearing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a floating axle,
Because I...
We
which
can't
when you
get
do
it.
river crossings is quite pertinent.
Oh, very, very funny.
If we
Okay,
can't
we'll
get
leave
back
you with it.
together, we're keeping it as a spare part.
Well, we did hear a very strange squealy noise, we know that.
Yeah, but
Carl has packed wheel bearing grease into the bearing thing because he can't get the bearings out. Can't get the old one off to put any new ones in. He's got new ones, he can't get it off, so they've decided they'll pack it with bearing grease, put it all back together and see what happens. And when we get to Alice Springs, if there's still a noise, he will have to take it out and get somebody to take it off in a workshop. Okay, the dawn of another day, and we're off again, and what do we find? More mud, glorious mud. We don't seem to be getting away from this at the moment. It's pretty constant. Be nice when we have the blue skies, the lack of the drizzly rain and pleasant conditions. But I've never seen the Simpson like this. It's just a bog hole. And we're closing in on someone. We're westbound and somebody's eastbound, and we think they're just over the next dune because we keep on getting louder transmissions. We're speaking to each other because we're expecting to meet each other soon. Here we go again. It's getting a bit monotonous, the same types of photos or videos the whole way through. I'm going to give up in a minute because the whole tape will be full of just muddy, slushy water crossings. But it's going to be like this for another 50 k's till we get to Popple's Corner apparently, or even past it, and then we decide which track we're taking. So here we are again, making like a boat. It's got pretty cut up and rutted and bumpy as well, most of these tracks now, apart from where it's pure sand. How unfortunate. Tried to ride a motorbike over here and he didn't make it. Everyone's coming up here to get a photo. We're perched on top of a dune because we're in between a load of people behind us and in front of us.
We've got 3 oncoming.
We've got oncomings coming.
okay. Thanks, Jenny. Sorry, Jen.
It's all right. Look at the black. I can't believe this. Look how black it is around. This is incredible. Having a bit of a change. Jenny and I are having a burl along, and Carl and Jeff are having a bit of a drive along. We just left the sign for Popel's Corner. We went along the edge of a sand dune for a while. No, on a salt lake, I mean. And we're heading towards Popel's Corner. And this has just been pretty constant with a lot of bumps and lumps and dips and channels and a lot of traffic coming the other way.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but this is at Popple's Corner. And that's South Australia. And then we move around here, Northern Territory. So if you want to get across the border real quick, just got to walk around this pole. Queensland. So that's our crew in the cars.
I got him. A little dingo on the track. Oh, it's wobbling everywhere. How good's the track? He's on the sand dune, he's hanging around. Yeah, I've got him good. Gone underneath something now. Behind a bush.
It's after something.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think he was hunting something. Oh, there he is. Come out again. Lost him. Haven't I?
He's staying near the road.
Is he? I don't know what he's doing. He's smelling things and looking. Usually they rush off. He's just sitting straight in front of us. Standing.
Sharp one just here, guys.
Now he's going up the track. He's not scared of us at all.
He's coming up the track towards you. Oh.
Just part of the rig road we've hung along the bottom edge of the Simpson. The lone gum tree. Quite interesting out here.
It's Wednesday. Set up camp. We've got all the cooks working, haven't we, Jane?
Easy tea tonight.
Yeah. There's Carl. Yeah. Cook over there. Kevin and Leonie. And a fire.
Look at the wood.
Yeah. Got plenty of cooking wood.
Filming?
Yep.
Okay, I'm supposed to have a flair for doing naughty things.
Went the wrong way. I look, it's going to come down on top of the cruiser.
Oh.
It frickin' is. It's not, it's going to get a Nissan. Oh shit.
Holy shit. That is supposed to burn first.
I think it's actually the flare that's burning, nothing else.
It's gone out.
It's Thursday morning. Got a beautiful sunrise. Out my left eye, I can see it, but out my right eye, all I can see is this screen, which is all grey. So, it should turn out quite nice. We're on the rig road, about 230 from Dalhousie. Should just about on time, I'd say. Still Thursday morning. So June as the sun comes up behind me. Oh. There's the best vehicle in camp, And Carl's cleaning up after morons that leave glass around. A little campfire. Uh-oh.
But guess what we see? Holding up the convoy, plodding along. I'll zoom in on the camels a bit better. Oh, I can't. They're so far away, I can't. They're going to zoom up the top of a sand dune, holding everybody up. How funny is that? Leonie and Kevin are following the camels now. These camels just don't want to get the hint that we would like to be on the road. They won't give up. They're staying on these sand dunes, sticking to the track. He's a bit slow, that one. I think it's a little bit of a strain for him. Finally off the track, and finally up in the top of the dune, but off the road now. This part of the track is very eroded. We have to pick our way slowly so we don't slip into that hole. The desert has bloomed, little yellow daisies. They're gorgeous. Hundreds and hundreds of them. There's heaps and heaps of them.
You know, the seaside.
Oh, the desert's surely in bloom. Everlastings. We're almost into Dalhousie, and this is how people get rid of the rubbish in some of these places. They just have these big pits, totally covered up and bolted so the animals can't get in, and they just set fire to the rubbish every now and again. Look, he came out as a piece of firewood. We were chopping the firewood up to make it smaller, and he fell out, and look, he's growing a new tail. He's a little cutie boy. That's the chunk of wood he came out of. Flies are driving us nuts, aren't they, Carl?
What are you calling me a chunk of wood for?
There's a cooking fire and a warming fire spot here. We've got a nice little camp spot. Jenny and Carl came forwards of us and got a spot for us and made phone calls, and we put a tarp around that shelter in case it gets cold. And the Dalhousie Spring is flies and mongrels. Over in that direction we just had a beautiful hour and a half soak. At old Dalhousie ruins with a complete idiot behind me. I'm in the blacksmith shop. We'll ignore all that, won't we? And there's a fantastic vehicle out there. That looks like a wagon wheel and the axle that's come out of it. I don't know what those little holes are for, but they go right through. So it's got something to do with blacksmith.
Nothing to do at all with blacksmith. Nothing at all.
Date palms at Dalhousie ruins.
There's Jean at Dalhousie complaining that she never gets a kisser on the film.
This is a mound spring, and a whole heap of date palms is inside the mound spring. They're that tall, I can't really show them. Very nice. There's a dingo lives in this area. He was here last time, and there's evidence that he's been here.
Not exaggerating, are they?
Dalhousie sunrise. Just came along the road. There's a dingo. He was just laying in the middle of the track. Just laying there watching us. Just left Mount Dare, heading for New Crown, and there's a little baby cutie pie, very tiny. Not a cattle out here. Oh, they settle. Well, we're less than 10 k's from Fink. We've done very well the mileage from Dalhousie. Whoops, this part we're actually at 80 k's an hour, and the road's been quite smooth compared to what we've had. So we've made up pretty good time here. We're going to head to Chambers Pillar, but we're going to stop at Fink probably and have lunch. We're all making a lot of decisions because when we get to Alice Springs tomorrow, we have quite a lot of repairs to do. Different ones of us have to make decisions on before we hit the canning, getting things done. Both of the Nissans are considering replacing springs to get stronger springs. We're considering replacing our shockers. We'll get them checked to decide, and we'll even, if we don't replace them, we'll possibly take spare ones. We've heard that that's been a real shock on the canning, that a lot of people have had to replace their springs this time. Shockers. We need our a fuel tank welded. Carl needs some things too. Carl and Jenny have a problem with their fridge, which won't be hard to fix, but they have to go to the place, the Waco place, to get it done. Also, they need something done with poly bags. I'm not quite sure what, but he knows. And there's something wrong with his bearings. He's going to get something done about his bearings.
No.
And what were Leonie and Kevin having to do apart from the springs? He's got a crack in the diff which has to be welded. So that's really, those things are quite important to be done before we get the canning. We've all got little things that need doing as well, but the big things are quite important. Just left Fink, and we are heading along the old railway line, which we can tell by all the sleepers along the track, along the edge. This old railway line's a bit rough. We're stopped along the old Gan Road, and Carl radioed us to say there was a funny noise, and he reckons one of the mounts on his roof rack has broken. So we might have to do a running repair. We're a few k's from the Maryvale turnoff, which will take us out to Chambers Pillar. Oh, flies.
Put pressure on the second one
There's
down.
a little crack up the top of that. Come into some desert oak country. More of these desert oaks. There's a lot of really tiny ones. They must have had rain, and it's helped them to sprout. I'd say because we're on the old Gan line, that would be water for the trains. Looks like a nice area that we could have camped, but it's not the time of day that we want to camp yet. Desert oaks, gorgeous. floodwaters that undermined the track. What a bit of a problem. They struck, the whole train turned over. Chambers Pillar way over there. The sun is setting. The colours are changing. Colour's nearly gone.
That's a 6.3, yeah, A3 plus. Another one of these.
We're at Chambers Pillar. And that's the Castle Rock. And that's where the sun's going to come up. Give us light on Chambers Pillar. Saturday morning, still at Chambers Pillar, waiting for the sun to come up. That's Chambers Pillar, we're just over a rise. Hopefully get a bright view. We're waiting here for the sun to come up. Got a nice blue tinge down on the horizon, followed by pink above that, and then blue. Sun's just coming up over the horizon, starting to light it up. You can see it on the tip of this one. Chambers Pillar.
Okay, I'm halfway up Chambers Pillar, as you can tell by the panting. Go away. Whoops. Yes, okay. So it was a very historic spot here. Most of the things around here are flat.
The old telegraph line, now they've installed cable. Sorry? It used to be the old telegraph line, now they've installed cable.
Carl had a different idea of why this is called Chambers Pillar. Something to do with ancient civilisations and emptying chamber pots and things. Some of the early people, explorers and settlers, wrote things on this pillar. That's going up the pillar.
Yeah.
We came to Alice Springs. We decided to opt for a cabin for 3 or 4 nights. Might even extend it to 5. Jenny and Carl are parked in the driveway. They got a rate for camping on top of their vehicle, but there's a lot of major repairs going on. I'm cooking, and Jenny folded up all the washing and hung out most of it. We did it together. Leonie did washing, and Jeff's having a look at something under the vehicle. We've been getting something bumping or catching, and he's working out what it is. There's something hitting the mud flap, I think. I think the tyre hits it. There's some bolts he's going to recess. And also, we bought some heavy-duty shockers because we're not absolutely sure what's happening with ours, so we're taking them as precaution because we've heard that a lot of people have done shockers in on the Canning. Carl's replacing his springs. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's replacing his springs. What are you doing? He's doing something with rubbers, aren't you? Putting rubbers inside or something, or under them?
Uh-huh.
So it's major works operations here. We're getting onto heaps of stuff. Jenny's his apprentice, or gopher. So we're getting prepared for our long trip and getting things done. Jeff had the tank welded. It was a really big leak on one side, and he's had some brackets to mount it because a couple of the brackets were broken or cracked, and he's decided that they could do that. So they did a pretty good job, pretty reasonable, Alice. Kevin and Leonie are in a cabin. Kevin was doing something with some heavy-duty springs too. Underneath Kevin's car, that's where he had the crack in the diff housing welded up. He had that done at the same place that Jeff had the tank welded. And he's working on his springs, putting in some strong ones. Where's the new ones? Oh yes, of course. Getting them organised. We went through the car wash at Alice Springs, all of us. High pressure hose and soap and all that. Carl got hold of some more fuel tanks that we're going to be needing. Another day dawns. Very early we managed to get hold of a portable welder from Kevin and Leonie's friends. Jeff's under there welding up something to do with the exhaust on Carl's car, and Carl's found out that I think it's one of the spring mountings, because he's putting his springs in. He's done the front, but when he's doing the back he's noticed there's a crack in the spring mounting, so that needs welding. So we've had a lot of things we've had to deal with before we go, but once we get there we'll be fully prepared. We all went through the car wash yesterday. Well, I think Kevin went the day before, but we managed to do it yesterday. Come out all right, and this morning Jenny has rinsed it, got the last dregs of soap off, because we're going to apply protector, plastic peel-off stuff to the cars to protect them from the scratches that we're going to encounter when we go bush bashing. So we're getting stuck into everything and anything, doing a lot of the stuff ourselves. Still got to do the pulling the axles out and getting the bearings pressed off and new ones pressed on. That has to be done. The energy this young lady seems to have and seems to use. Where's she going? She's hiding from me. She's doing a beautiful job here. I'm happy to do some cooking and washing up and that, and she's happy to do these things. We got all our washing done yesterday, so we're happy. Bedding, sheets, all the clothes that have been piled up. So we're getting set. Got to do the big shop and have a bit of a look around.
Okay, we've just put some new springs on. The other ones didn't cut the mustard. So
Yep.
we've got some old man Emu, same what Carl's putting on his car. And,
Good
taking
clearance.
up 40mm at the front, and I would say all of that at the back.
Excellent. Looks good, doesn't it, Kev? Happy with that?
Yeah.
What else have you done?
I just changed the brake line because it was going to go to full droop and possibly stretch the brake line.
And what else?
That's all at this stage.
And what are you having done later?
I just got to find a couple of rattles.
No, 12:30.
Just get the carby tuned up
Right.
and then find a few rattles and
Okay.
it'll be sweet.
And you got spare shockers in case?
Not yet. We're going to get
You're
them
going to
set
do
up.
that, aren't you? Yeah, excellent. Really good. That's going to make you feel a bit more secure and happier, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And that looks like a different vehicle because you put it through the car wash. And you look like a different bloke because you had a shave. We've got all these tractors. They're on a trek about or a track about or something. And every time I get the... Oh, here comes one. Every time I get the video out, by the time I get it focused and the dark start of it, I just can't get it. But they are in and out, all out of day and night. There's a whole stack of them. And they're raising money for different charities, and they are going up Cape York. So they're pretty happy about that. They can't do the gate thing from up in the high tractor either. But man, they do make a noise in a caravan park. There we go. My goodness, look what we found. This tyre, absolutely shredded. The people passed us. We noticed the tyre was a bit flat, and we thought any minute now might be a flat, and it was. Very short way. On the Tanami track we are. What is our Nissan? Nissan? Nissan Maverick.
Yeah, we're travelling from Adelaide.
Yeah. You're travelling from Adelaide?
Yeah.
And we just left Alice Springs not long ago. This part of the Tanami is bitumen. And Jeff is lending them a jack.
Handbrake.
Jeff is lending them a jack to get the tyre off too, because their jack isn't working. He got her to lift that tyre down off the back and get down and undo the nuts. She's doing all the work, and so is Jeff. Now he's having a bit of a go. Well, here we are hurtling up the Tanami. We sent Kevin and Leonie on ahead to just plod. Jenny and Carl are way behind us because they were leaving a couple of hours after us, having to do shopping and that. And the engine was boiling. I said to Jeff, is that a noise coming from their car while he was underneath using the jack? He said, yep, she's boiling. They're not going to get that much further. We've given them water.
They had no water, and also I said to Kevin I'll give him 200 k's, and he got about 50.
Yep, and it was the tyre we knew was going to go. And I'm so glad they didn't roll because some of the children didn't even have seatbelts on. However, they come from Playford, Playford AOG, and they're coming up to do a convention to help teach other Aborigines about the Lord. So that's quite interesting. And they told us, he said he was Ken Walker with his family, and he was happy to meet us and thankful that we helped him. So he got thanks and he had gratitude. But he's got to get a new jack. I said, you need a jack? He said, yep, I'm getting one when I get to where I'm going. But as Jeff said, we don't know how far the car's going to get because it's bubbling already. So we've given them water, helped them put the tyre on, and it's up to them. Now we're going to catch up to Kevin and Leonie. And Jenny and Carl catching up to us. Next instalment, Jeff goes, what's coming towards us? And there's a camel coming towards us on the Tanami track, just off the edge of the bitumen. Whoops, we're moving. This is really wrecked it. Never mind. I fancy him coming down the Maid Road. That's a bit unusual. We've come to Yuendumu. We've come out the back of the town for a quick look to see what these things were that we couldn't understand. Satellite dishes, eh? Satellite dishes or something like that they are. They're really strange things. Anyway, we've had a bit of a look. We better get out of here because we've gone right past the town through the tip and we wouldn't. That's where you get the fuel and that's the shop. We have the painter and decorator at work here. He's doing the finishing touches. Okay, this is a coating to protect the vehicles. Plastic type of a stuff that you just roll it all over the vehicles. Carl was kind enough to get enough for all of us. So they've all just painted all the cars. Okay.
What's it look like, Carl?
It looks like clag. It's fairly thick and goes on. The idea is it turns into like a rubber coating, almost like a rubber glove or some
Yep,
thin rubber
like
membrane.
latex or something.
Yeah, like latex. And you just roll it off afterwards. You sort of peel it off.
Okay, excellent. Be sensible, Jeff. Yeah, it's pretty good. See, you can't even see it. It actually takes some of the scratches out. It covers them over. Pretty good stuff. So it's meant to protect us on the canning from all the scratches. Heading into Rabbit Flat. I can't believe this. We've pulled up at Rabbit Flat and that whole tank that we had welded, the whole tank has emptied. It's awash with diesel in the bottom of this thing. This is the kitchen side. Everything is full of diesel, just shocking. We've lost the whole tank. It's just been coming out all the way on up the Tanami. It's covered everything. I hate having to video this, but it's what happens. You try and do your best to get jobs fixed, and it doesn't always happen. So we've lost, I'd say, nearly the lot. We have to park the car on an angle and drain out the rest once we've emptied the tank as best we can, and now we've got diesel spread up under things. Hopefully not too much damage. We won't find out till we unpack. I wanted Jeff to put this up on a slope because I could not stand the stuff in the back of the ute. I said the quicker we get it out, the better. Unbelievable. It must have been half an hour and we've had a pie in there. Still going. Trying to work out what we're going to do about Kevin and Leonie's diff too. We have to deal with that, so we're going to see if we can get a welder maybe in Halls Creek or Old Halls Creek. Inside Halls Creek. Well, I mean, no, Rabbit's Flat. Well, I don't even know where I am now, do I? Rabbit Flat. Yes, thank you. They were great. This is where the goods get brought through, the alcohol, the food. Bruce and Jackie have been there since 1969.
Set up camp and have a cup of coffee.
Wait till the next day, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even think about that.
We're on a bit of the Tanami that's near Birraluna, which is bitumen, and we've been told by Carl that there's a Land Rover coming towards us with driving on 3 wheels. So I thought I might video it if I get the chance. And a Falcon behind it with bits hanging off. So it's quite interesting how they drive around out here. Whoops, still on the Tanami. And we're following so much dust. You go into these clouds of dust and you cannot see a thing. It's been a constant thing pretty much all day. But this part of the day is absolutely locked to put your lights on or you can't see people through the dust. Back into the dust again, but somewhere in this dust is a camel apparently. Have a look at that sky. The red in that is so beautiful. Through the dust.
It's Sunday. This is Old Halls Creek Caravan Park. Quite a few people in here. The sun should be coming up over there. And a few are already heading out, making noises at 5:36 in the morning. That's Kevin's car. We got a fix that diff. Martin, the owner of the property, says he's an expert welder. So we're going to let him have a crack at it.
Go on, Jenny, what are you doing? Tell us. Tell us what's happening. Go on, you're cleaning in my washing. Stinking diesel out of things. Clothes bags, best clothes bag. All the gear with the tiara in for our special dinner. Stinking. There's Carl, he got this degreaser stuff from the car wash.
Camera degreased?
Jeff's got the hose going, fire hose. And we're just getting all this diesel and grease and muck, trying to get it out of the tray.
We're doing what the proprietor here wanted us to do and wetting down the driveway to save dust.
I think we are. I think we're doing that, but we've turned it into mud for him now. But in this heat it'll go. So hopefully we'll get on top of it and get the stink out of the clothes and the van. Everything you touch was dripping, and it's going to be a whole new day. And we're getting the welding done for Kevin and Leonie. Hopefully that'll be done this morning. The proprietor's got a welder. Still the cleaning patrol is going, helping with all that truck wash to get the smell out of my best clothes. I went to hang them up after we washed them and they still smelt, so Carl's doing them again in truck wash. Going running with buckets of hot water.
Well, it's Sunday. Martin is going to hook that hoist up and lift that car up and weld it from underneath. So we'll see how we go. Martin's taking it up, ready to weld.
What's this? Hey!
Now that's what you call ergonomics, making the workplace suit to work. There's Martin welding up, Kevin's mission patrol. Kevin, watch the grass below him. He's doing it in stages. These pair of loafers here doing nothing. Why aren't you doing domestic chores helping your wives out?
What's that?
Why aren't you doing domestic chores helping your wife out?
These hands, fresh clean with cussons, palm olive and eucalyptus oil. Very nice. What do you reckon, Dr. Jeff?
Well, Martin's cleaned it out with an angle grinder. He's followed the crack right down.
From here, you are down through.
And he's now going to weld up where the crack is. Or he's just going to leave it as it is.
Where are you, Jeff?
Here's stage 2.
Behind the camera.
Said he's got more to do yet.
Why is it so? She a weld.
A little bit more there, a little bit there. That's about it.
Yeah,
Well, speak then, Jeff, because it says it's recording.
yeah, well, yep, well, this is the last bit of welding that Martin's done. Reinforced it. And Jean wants her mush in the camera now and again.
Now I'm clean. We've cleaned the vehicle, we've cleaned all the washing. We've got the diesel stink and stain off of most things, and I've had a beautiful shower.
Yep, so hopefully we're a goer again.
We're at Sawpit Gorge. It's nearly dark now. We decided we'd come out and see what it was like. Then we found such a beautiful spot for a camp that Jenny and Carl and Jeff and I decided we would come up here. So we come up to Sawpit Gorge Hill, or Heights. Going to have a fire tonight. Going to camp up on this little hill. And now I've got Jeff in the picture.
And is it fuzzy?
No.
Then I should have shaved.
It's Monday morning. And a beautiful spot to camp. Little creek running through. Sun's just coming up over the corner. Yeah, really quiet, peaceful. Oh, a bit of a track goes up there, I don't know where it goes. This is where we camped. It's not 11 o'clock, so Jean won't be up yet. You can see the sun just coming up on that mountain behind.
I'm at Sawpit Gorge and some of the trees here, this is meant to be a weed, but some of the flowers are beautiful. These flowers are dropping off everywhere. This is a lovely, lovely spot. These flowers are gorgeous too. We slept up on Sawpit Hill, Gorge Heights, and this is the view we had. We're at the Wiluna. We've just put our sand flags on, getting organised. This is where we're going to find the beginning of the Canning stock route. The guys put fuel in, those that needed, and the shop isn't open. So this is where we got what we needed earlier. That's cool. About 30 k's from well 51, still ploughing along. We haven't even got to well 51 yet, and then we've got oncoming, and this is a rodeo with a broken wishbone. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're not that far from Bilaluna to get help or do something. We're just heading in for our trip, and they're nearly out of theirs.
I'll swap the video when you're finished.
Okay,
Mine's
Jeff
great.
is having a go at this welding. To weld up that wishbone to help these people to get to civilization, to get it fixed or replaced or whatever they got to do.
Yeah, around here we don't just make a wish, we make a wishbone.
So how many we got? 3 vehicles here? 4 vehicles, all on a trip, and they look like they've finished the canning. Just, almost, nearly.
You've got coppers and council workers and nurses and paramedics and...
Okay, so they can look after us if anything happens? Well, we were stopped here. Kevin and Leonie have had a look at their diff again, and there appears to be some oil seeping out of it. So it looks like we could have a big problem again. So that's another thing we're going to have to talk about and see what was going to eventuate. Can't believe it. It's been welded twice and it's seeping again.
Finish with the drill and I'll recharge it.
Bush welding. What? A homemade mask?
Yeah, look, we're going to have to stick Jeff in the fridge. It says store below.
You're going to be long?
I think he's welding the back of it now.
on, you didn't tell me to hook up again, did you?
Going to decide maybe to camp here. The road has got water right across it and it doesn't look like people have driven here. I think they've gone a bypass around or turned or something. So we thought we might camp here to regroup and discuss the problem with the diff, and we can't get to where we were headed anyway, to Breeden Hills, so we'll work out what we can do and see how we can resolve this problem that we now have with the diff leaking again. What a shame. Back to the bush welding, wishbone, crack, gone.
To leave a bit open.
You guys, you're part of a four-wheel drive club.
We're at well 51. That's the depression in the ground there. Really?
It's Tuesday morning. Just did a welding job to get someone else going. I parked for the night. Got some brolgas and grains of some sort out here. Grey and white. In the water. Beautiful spot. Kevin and Leonie have had trouble with their diff again. 3 times it's cracked. So they've decided to pull the plug before they go too deep in problems. So we're going to follow them back to Halls Creek till they're on the bitumen. And I can't go any further, otherwise Jean will kill me, I think. But a very nice place. Flat, plenty of firewood.
Here we are again on the top bit of the Tanami. We've left Halls Creek again. We escorted Kevin and Leonie into Halls Creek because the decision was made last night for them to turn back and finish their holiday on the bitumen, perhaps head up north to Darwin or around those areas where it's warm, Kununurra, and stay on the bitumen because of the leak in the diff that we just can't seem to get on top of. It was sad because we had planned to do the canning all together, but circumstances have prevented that. So we're zooming back to meet Jenny and Carl at a spot that we organised near opposite well 48, and we're hoping to make it tonight. If we don't, we'll camp on the way and meet them tomorrow. And Leonie and Kevin are in Halls Creek safely on the bitumen, and they will decide what they're doing to make sure they get home in one piece and enjoy the rest of their holiday. Here we are again. Oh, I don't know if that was a good move or not, but we just went through a stack of water that no one's been through. There was a big detour, but we're running out of time. So we thought we'd give it a go, and I'll tell you what, it was a bit hairy in the middle. Last night we did the detour and it went round for a very long way.
Well, there it was there. Didn't go a long way at all.
Oh, didn't it? I thought it went for kilometres. Well, 49. I never thought I'd be driving on the Canning in the dark, but it seems that that's what we're doing. We're trying to get to Breeden Hills, and we've come and found well 49, which is meant to have very good water on the Canning, crystal clear. And we wanted to find it. We sort of got a bit bamboozled, but we found it now. Now we're heading for well 47.
We're heading for 48.
Oh well, no, we just had 48. No, I think it is for...
It was 49 now.
Okay, so it's 48. We've walked up to Godfrey's tank. I don't know how they got this writing done on this tank thing, or the edge of this.
There's a ridge there.
I don't know how they did it, but
It's a little footridge, about 5 foot, 6 foot under.
Not much water. We were hoping to get a bucket of water and have a good wash, but it's way down there and there's not that much of it. But I guess when the water's flowing or there's been a big wet, it's probably a nice place to be.
1908,
42.
1908 there, Trotman.
But see that D. Rust and
1908.
R. Ross, the Defence Department, D-R-O-D, that Wells is a recent one.
I'm hoping these are painted finch. It's hard to tell from this distance.
Just quietly, Ken. Ken. Just quietly.
I think that's a painted finch too. And there's some over here. Hard to see through a camera, but I'm hoping they're painted and they'll come out red on the big screen. These are definitely painted pictures. In the shadow.
Oh, you got it?
Yep. Adult at steady whites.
Get a nice shot of them there. Sun on it.
Has he got red on it?
Yeah, there's one out to the left. At about 11 o'clock from him.
Oh yeah, right up the edge.
When they turn towards you.
Yeah. I think I've got a fair
Coverage.
yeah.
Here's the lot.
By white people, I think.
I don't know.
There's a,
Where that big bush is, he's going to go in front of it now. Yeah.
Got it.
Well, this well 47. Bit of a hole in the ground. Just the remnants of the well. And Jean's making lunch.
Firewood for tonight. Carl's noticed a crack under the wheel art. Sun's shining on the spinifex. It looks beautiful. It's really silver. It's a really hot day today. We're heading to the next well, which we think it's got good water, and we're going to camp there to fix our problems and sort out what's to be done. Carl's doing running repairs. Something to do with his front wheel bearings. They could hear a noise and he's fixing it. Jeff's fixing the chainsaw because it won't start when he wants it to, and the chain fell off while he used it today. Jenny is getting the fire going. So there were some coals left. We've put them next to a big chunk of wood that was here. And we were over at the well, she and I got buckets of water and a big drum full of water. She did all the heavy work. She's a
lucky we explain what to do.
clever girl. And she and I washed each other's hair with buckets of water, and we feel brilliant. We're going to have a shower later. That'll be a nice fire tonight. We're going to use the plate and cook chicken. and spuds. Now we're deciding where to put this other battery, because it's too heavy for the area that it's got a crack. Yesterday Carl renewed some wheel bearings in the front, and he may be going to check the ones on this side. And last night we had, oops, the sun is a bit bright, we had a fantastic shower off the back of the ute, all of us. So we feel $1 million. It was wonderful.
The girls are getting some water out of a restored well, or not a restored well, but a good well. Dropping the bucket down.
As far as okie dokie. Are you alright? It's easy work like this.
Oh yeah, that's what we did. I think you'll have to come round.
Ready?
Yep, when you're ready. Got it?
Do a couple, Jane.
Do a couple?
Yeah, then we'll take them both over.
Are you still holding that?
No, no.
She's full.
Let's get the red bucket. We'll do that while I'm here.
That's the girls getting water out of well 56. Just use it for showering, etc.
Carl's sorting his other wheel bearings, put the wheel back. They've decided not to weld that crack till we get home when we've got the proper equipment. So the battery has been removed and we are going to store it because they can make do without it. There's another battery. Because it's the weight of the battery that's caused the crack and we'll be putting it under stress. So we're going to give that a try and hope it doesn't get any worse. So we'll see what happens. It's been a lovely spot here. Well 45. It's a bit of just a hole in the ground and a whole load of rusty bits and pieces. This one's not used at all. We found this really nice camp spot. We pull up, we start getting the wood all ready. Jeff decides he's going to chop this log up. He worked on the chainsaw yesterday to get it to work. He said if it doesn't start, I'm going to kick it very hard. And guess what? He grabbed it, pulled the handle, it spluttered, and the string broke off the handle. So,
Pulled the bloody knob through the hole.
well, it didn't work. It isn't going to work until he fixes it again. So we're going to see if it works this time. Jeff's welding gloves got absolutely saturated with diesel from the spills. We couldn't find them. And then I found them soaked, and I washed them 3 times in dishwashing detergent, but they've been wet for a day and a half, so we're trying to finish drying them off. Apparently, when he pulled the handle, the knot from the string just didn't stay. The handle just pulled straight off. Getting something under the log so they can put the chainsaw through. There he goes.
4, 3, 2, 1, action!
I'm going to kick somebody in a minute.
The dirt, is it all nice and clean? It doesn't make
When you go like this, that's supposed to go out.
Finally! Flipping idiot of a thing! It's finally working! This little lizard was eating ants on an ant's nest, and as we arrived to get a photo of him, he nicked off. We had a lovely campsite last night, a really good clearing. That's how we leave the fire. No embers, nothing burning when we go. We're just getting ready to leave. And you're not going to believe this, but Carl's under his car. And we said, what's the matter? There's a pinprick hole in his largest diesel tank. So now we have yet another problem to sort out and find a solution for. But with the best four-wheel drivers and the most brilliant minds and a lot of help from above, I'm sure we'll work out a solution. It's pretty much a ruin. That's what's left of the trough that held the water. The bucket's still here and a few old rusty drums and the covers, but the well's like disappeared. We're whizzing along this path, but we've been whacked and scratched by really tight branches and twigs and burnt things, and we're heading out to see the remains of a trailer and a bike, I think. We'll find it when we get there, but this has been like slapped all along the edge of the vehicle with broken branches and burnt bits.
Going to do the old bodgy through the dirty.
Carl and Jenny going up the next sand dune. Okay. What have we found on the track? I can't believe it.
Look at this.
Shotgun pellet.
Still alive. All conditions right. Could possibly blow a hole in the bottom of your vehicle.
Right in the wheel track, wasn't it? I said, what's that? Must have fallen off a car. Unbelievable. How careless can they be? Live ammo. The remains of a trailer that was brought on the canning and didn't make it.
I think I know
I
what it
wonder
is.
why. Quite thick foliage here. Glad we got Scratch Pro on. And tape on some of the pillars. We're coming up to well 42 at some point. Flat area. Well 42. Not much left of it. It's pretty dilapidated. Just rotting things around now. So I can hear finches, so there's got to be a little bit of water somewhere around. We decided to camp at the edge of a chicken track for that dune. It's not even a very big dune, but somehow people have had runs up and it's become a little camp. And Jeff has got the ferroprey out, and we're going to ferroprey the bottom of Carl and Jenny's fuel tank to keep the diesel in. Has to be prepared first, doesn't it?
What's that?
The tank, you're preparing the surface before you ferroprey.
Just clean it up, put a patch over where it's leaking.
Oops. Wrong hand.
Don't those leaves back on?
Oh
They're
yeah.
not active.
No, they won't active until this happens. And when this happens, boy are they active.
Do you think you got enough?
It's a demo. Because someone tomorrow morning is going to try and get it off that can there.
Mm. You going to mix some diesel with it, Jen?
Well, not if it's dry as dry. No.
Aren't you going to mix some diesel with it to see what effect it has on its... Didn't you want to do a sample to see?
Yeah, but if it's really dry, I don't need to. I was worried about.
I'll have to double check it before we put it on. I should take the fuel cap off, shouldn't I? Unless it's under vacuum. It might be under vacuum. Best way to leave it.
Well, have we got diesel somewhere that I can just grab a smidgen and put a bit on a can?
Yeah, you can. What, this? Yeah, there's plenty here.
No, as in I was going to put a bit of diesel on the can first.
Get the jerry can and get it out the... There'll be dribble in it. Just there.
That, my lad, will seal anything.
Really?
What are you doing with it now then?
I'm already constipated, so please
Oh,
don't use it
don't
anywhere
do
else.
that.
That's on the tape too. Oh, you can't trust him at all, can you?
No.
Where's the dome?
There's a shield and a retainer for the ferroprey. So Jean, could you ferroprey for us, please? Probably want to work it on the surface as well, eh?
That's right, that's what I'm saying. That's what you've got to do. Work that on the surface so it bonds into the tank. Push those two together. So if you want someone to just hold that for a while.
Does it need to be held? So it doesn't get dusty?
He's going to stick that up under the tank. I'm not crawling under there to show you, so you have to guess.
Do you want me to, Jean?
All you do is press record the button. Oh. The red one.
Anyway. Oh.
I've got the dome. Is that what you're after?
Yep. Well, I'll let Carl do it now. Just got to dome over it and pressure it up.
Give it to Jeff.
Beg your pardon?
Give it to Jeff.
Yep.
He's the only one here to trust.
Right. This is it. bit of timber.
This wood thing? That thing?
Yeah, or whatever. And the jack.
No, not that.
Can I put this? Can I put this on something?
Oh. And then they're using my idea of pushing something up against it, the pressure on it, to hold it in place and put pressure on it until it hardens. We're heating our kettle on top of a log that's got massive flames coming up the centre of it. This is for our showers.
Special design, look.
It's fantastic! I reckon that's boiling.
It's early in the morning. Getting close to well 42. Everyone's asleep. This is our camp. Just done a bit of a repair on Carl's fuel tank. That's our camp. That's where we'll be heading when the sun comes up with that brekkie.
I don't think any of us have seen this one because it would have been well underwater.
Well underwater, I get it.
And Jenny and I are going to wash our hair and get some more water out of this one.
Tea.
This looks like tannin going in there. Thankfully it's for showers and hair washing and that. But boy, it's pretty brown.
It's also brackish.
It's salty sort of vegetation-ish, but it doesn't smell bad. It just looks funny.
Save on tea bags.
Can you pretend to pour again? Like it's something you don't even think about now.
But the thing is, he went over to be friendly. Michael.
Michael Tobin's grave, he got speared by an Aborigine. There's a bit of history about all this. And here we have well 40. And this is Tobin Lake, I'd reckon. I know it's near here, and this well is underwater. Totally. Can hear the finches.
Carl.
Lake. The other one wasn't Tobin Lake, obviously, but it was the well, which had become a lake. You couldn't even use any of it, of course, because it was no good anymore, but it was still underwater. We just went across the salt lake. We came to a stand of beautiful, huge desert oaks. Not much left of this. Pretty muddy, boggy water. Pretty dilapidated, but the birds are drinking the water, obviously. This has been a bit of fun lately. Very boggy around here. Just starting to come down a dune. This is typically what the track is like. Between one sand dune to the next, and then heading up looking for the track and zooming over. Hello, it's over there somewhere. Came over a sand dune, there's a rocky outcrop, quite interesting.
Go down to the track.
I was thinking, look, one evening where no one has to repair anything, we can actually sit and relax, not worry about anything with the vehicles, and somebody notices that the spare wheel carrier, the top bit, has sheared off. So now we have another thing we're going to have to deal with. Can't believe just torn out. No good.
For some reason. I don't think it is.
Okay, so now we're looking at the other one.
Yeah, and here you can see the fatigue is starting on the top as it tears away here, and also looking underneath you can see the tear ripping across the side here, starting of course on the bottom end.
What a mongrel. I think I saw one somewhere here. I don't know if that's one or not, but I think it's a maybe.
Yeah, the second one was starting to go. And they're just torn straight out. So, tyres are in the back. Sardineville. This is our camp. Here's the track we come from. There's the track we're going from. These nice got trees, I don't know what they are. Danny and Carl.
That was a marathon pack-up that we did. Things are not going to be as easy to find, but we managed to do it. Jenny and Carl took a couple of soft clothes bags. We're carrying a battery and a big steel plate for them, so it's all evens out somewhere. This is a rock hole.
Glendaroon RMC 76. Well, so the story goes, this well wasn't quite what it appears to be now. So the cattlemen got down here and blasted some out with dynamite and got better access to the water, at least for them. But apparently they found it quite hard to get the cattle down here. Just got a couple of carvings here from the ringers. At least we think they are. Ben Taylor. Check the dates. This one maybe not. A lot of interesting scratch marks in any case all through here. They were drilling holes to blast, and I'm seeing a lot of potential drill holes, that's for sure. A lot more scratchings up here. Might have been when they were prizing away more of the loose rock from the roof, who knows. And one of the original bushmen.
Yeah, I was here in 39. I'm Ben Taylor.
A wee bit green this time. We would have been submerged over my head last time with crystal clean, cold water. And one of the original maidens. She's come across with the ringers. She was quite a flirt.
Excuse me? That's a bit rude.
This is what the trailers have done. We passed that many of them, and we're following some, and they've really been cutting the track up, and they've just left all this mess. And the wheel tracks, they're all chopped up. Fancy leaving that? How stupid is that? He's right, they could do such damage, they just go off and leave them all. We crested a dune, and there we have hundreds of baby desert oaks. Absolutely gorgeous. well 37. Actually full of water.
Lost.
The books get written at some point and things keep moving.
Mm.
You taste it.
Jeff tried it and said it's very salty.
I tried it at 41.
You try it, Carl.
Well 37.
Someone's shadowed over it.
Boy.
Gosh, that wanted to stay in there, didn't it? That'll be mighty heavy.
You got a hole in your bucket.
Dear Liza,
Oh man. Oh, there's more than one hole. Oh dear, that's a pretty old bucket.
Dutch boy.
Stick your finger in the hole. Okay, let's go everybody. He's going to be here all day sticking his fingers in the bucket holes. In 1911, the first time the stock route was used, some cattlemen got murdered by the Aborigines. And then I think in 1922, a Cameleer came along for an oil exploration company and he got murdered by an Aborigine as well. He was clubbed to death, so the book says, so it's pretty gruesome.
Must be a fairly dangerous place.
Mm.
I remember trying to walk out here. And
This is all salt everywhere. The trees are dead. The salt must have come up out of the water table and just wrecked everything.
I wonder if the wells created or whether
There's so much water at this place. It's such a shame it's had such a violent history. What do you got?
What have I got? I've got evidence that we're true tough travelling Australians. Some Australians you might have heard about sniff petrol. Well, we're tough. We actually eat diesel.
Why is it diesel?
Apparently, some friends of ours had a bit of an issue with a leaking tank.
Mm-hmm.
And they bathed all of their worldly possessions and all of their food stocks with diesel.
Especially the cake.
Especially the cake.
Yep, it was very interesting, wasn't it?
And the fantails.
Oh yeah, the fantails. We had to burn the fantails. What a shame.
Not to worry.
Bit of black smoke came off them, but never mind.
No, don't use the word black.
(1922). This poor man was murdered out here by Aborigines on an exploration. I think it was for oil. Well, 36.
Did you find the fish called Wanda?
That's what I just asked Jenny. I actually was one step ahead of you, mate, this time. Not much left of the trough and all that, but there is some water in there. I'm not sure what it would be like.
I tell you what, doesn't look too bad, but
not pretty heavy.
It's a pretty ground cover.
You're in trouble next year,
Well, 35. Just met some interesting people. A couple of people together that obviously don't like being together, having disagreements, and one of them just about had a head-on with Jenny and Carl. because they don't talk on the radio unless they want you to pull over and let them past. Never mind, it takes all sorts. Not much left here. The last time we were here, this place had been a quagmire, and all the tracks in had real ruts from vehicles, and a lot of people had had a severe trouble getting out. And the first time we came here, people broke that many snatch straps trying to get one of their party out that had only gone a few inches off the track, because this whole place is like a big salt lake area. We're at well 33. We can't believe that these little fishies are in here. Unbelievable. This is a very reasonable water source. Some intuitive person has put water coming out of the hose from being pumped by that. So that's pretty good. So I think we'll top up our water, make sure we don't run out. We've got other water to drink, but we could drink this if we were really desperate. You can always boil it as well. We're sitting here taking turns of having showers away from this pool, using a hose between our vehicles. And a flock of budgies has come in, really wanting a drink, but they're not very happy because we're sitting here. So I'm waiting to see if they come in closer. You can hear finches as well.
And it has water.
Spin around, you can see everyone else.
Yeah. And we were sitting over here having a shower and sitting down. We were sitting about there and didn't realise we were so close to the well.
Just past well 33, we're at the Kanawaratja community. And this is where, if we hadn't ordered fuel at well 23, we would definitely have to get diesel. The pumps, smells a bit diesely too. What's that, $1.90? No, $2.90. $2.90. And $2.90 for unleaded as well. This is the store where we might get some bread and maybe some icy pole things. And they have a new office past our car. Well 32, abandoned, just off the edge of the road. We nearly missed it. Started heading up a track for an Aboriginal well, but decided against it. This was a real rabbit warren to find once we got into the scrubby area. But the camping spots here look pretty good. I don't know whether it's time to camp or not. 3:30 in SA time. We still work in SA time. but we'll see. There was a lot of traffic coming in. There was motorbikes coming out.
Guys, get up to,
We're
I got up
passing
to about
6
68.
other people
Got on
here.
top of it.
Carpet of white flowers as far as you can see.
This is from the white carpet. It looks like snow. It's a campsite. Oh, and a passenger. Going down to have a look at the well. We've come into Munginjeri Cave, and there's a little hole where I don't know what happens down there. And next to it, hold my arm please, this is Munginjeri Cave.
Down to about your 1 o'clock, Gene, is the hole.
That-
Dark low spot over there.
At 1 o'clock.
Oh, down through the reeds. Jenny has been down here, and
Underground.
you have to be very skinny, and apparently you can't hear anything at a certain point. And she turned around and there was a big snake in there, so she can have that experience.
Not to mention the swim she had in 35-degree water in an underground cave.
Wow.
Seriously, maybe it's because I was down there and you can see further in like that.
Yeah.
Now I'm down
Had
here.
people standing all around and roped and
No, it doesn't
It's,
look like
it's
that.
falling away all around the edges of this cave.
array.
You can see the tunnel there.
That's where they go down.
Snake
Half
wouldn't
their
get
luck.
out of there, would he?
No, I don't
Probably
reckon.
not. But he'd be pretty happy catching whatever marsupials fell down there looking for the sun.
What was that little guy on the island?
Hang on. Just a minute.
What's the guy on the island, you know? When they come in
Gilligan!
the blade!
Gilligan!
No, it's not Gilligan. Why would they bring all the guests in and you've got little tiny holes?
All around the cave, it's just that snow carpet. Beautiful.
What do you want me to do? Put my elbow in
Oh,
his
they're a
head or
noisy
my hand
lot,
on
aren't
his head
they?
or what?
They carry it on.
The case is behind you on a rock car.
Pretty bushes along the edge. We've come into some really lumpy sand dunes.
Yes, next one's same.
Back into sand dune country. They're really soft sand dunes now. Put the diff lock in to give it a go up this sand dune. Soft sand. Gonna go nice and slowly.
Not in yet.
No, but it will go in as soon as it's under strain. It always does that. Well, it's a bit naughty because it's still flashing. Mustn't think it's bad. I just want to show you how cut up these sand dunes are. Some people have been either in two-wheel drive or tyres too high. Hello. We went too slow. Oh. Okay. Okay, 2 diff lockers in. I don't know if they're in or not.
Left to the widest ring rock.
So we're having another bash. Very soft, very churned up, bumpy, lumpy, and a bit wrecked the tracks are. Yeah, no problems this time. It just needed 2 of them this time. It's very soft yet again. And then down we go, and it's bounce, bounce, bounce. It's like you're on a boat, because it's awful. Over the next dune, and there is the Ring Rock. It's one of the landmarks in this area. Going to go up to it and have morning tea. So we're at Thring Rock. Part of, I mean, it's so vast. Very
That's why I love low
vast.
range, because low 3 or low 2 means only a small little jump back if you need it.
People have put cans on it.
This is the line.
Down on Thring Rock.
Whoa.
There's the vehicles down there. Somewhere over there. There it is. Tractor coming up. Oh boy, that looks strong. Look at that wind's howling.
We got a problem with the mud flap when we backed up. The Spinifex has pushed it into the wheel, so we have to sort that out. Look who got disturbed at well 29 by us. Tiny little thing he is. I'm only about 12 inches from him. He's in my shade and he likes it. Oops. That's whacking on the wheel. We have to change it. It's meant to look like that one. We had trouble finding this. It's a lot further off the track than the map tells us. So we went over a sand dune, did a U-E, came back. That's when we did the damage to that mud flap. This is really abandoned. There's nothing much left here. There's a crack there, and he's still trying to get it back. Bush repairs.
We're just sort of hammering these boulders back
Oh,
in.
very funny.
We found under the tree.
Oh yeah, I got him. Just turned up on the track. Oh, now he's following them. Oh my goodness. I don't know where he's off to, but he's on a patrol. After a patrol. He just sat in the shade in front of us. Not much left of well 28 now. There's a lot of fuel drums just all around this area, just dumped. A little bit of different terrain, different vegetation when we come over here. Oh, the corrugations are shocking. This year is the worst we've known in this spot. Carpet of Spinifex either side of the road. Sometimes it's up the middle of the roads. Sometimes it's as high as the vehicle. This is like reasonably high.
And very flammable.
Yeah, very flammable. Some lovely rocky outcrops. Here we are at well 27. It was a little bit of a slog to find the actual place to come in.
I don't like ice cream.
And there is the well. A bit dilapidated. And I think there's a bit of water way down deep, but I don't know about the quality.
But I really want to vanilla chock wedges. And her and her husband Jeff have kindly offered to assist me in just getting the stocks down a bit in the freezer so we can manage the other important food elements such as beer on the rest of the journey.
Oh, how
So,
wonderful.
Thank you. Try it out here.
Guess
No,
what's
don't need
happened?
Make a better
The
job at home.
bracket, whoops, I'm in my own light. The bracket that holds that light on has snapped off of the bull bar. Lucky, Carl noticed the light just resting face down inside the front of the bull bar. So now he has got a one-eyed Nissan or a three-eyed one, whichever way you'd like to put it.
One-eyed Nissan's better than a one-eyed Toyota driver.
Oh, get out. Guess who I found up on top of a hill? Somebody That's a lot steeper than it looks. They're just little idiots, aren't they? Silly fools. We did this sort of backwards because the first time we did it we had very strange writing all over the screen. We pressed the wrong button. Very steep up there. You don't even understand when you're watching a video. Very, very steep. UFO Hill, the one that the guys have fun on and play games with. Like even where we're standing, it's really slippery and shaly, and that's a lot steeper up there than it is here. Boys and their toys, eh, Jenny?
Boys and their toys.
Well, you better come back then. Silly idiots. Oh. Jenny and I videoed the guys, and then we walked up this jolly thing, and my feet were actually slipping a bit, so she got behind and pushed me occasionally when I was sliding, and Jeff came down a bit and grabbed me and pulled me up at the last bit. And we've decided to be complete nutcases. We are going to camp up on top of UFO Hill. Never heard of this before, but we're doing it.
This is our rock.
Jeff said anybody's going to see us for miles with our fire.
What are you after, Jen?
The sun is about to set.
Okay.
In the full moon. The sun is setting up on top of UFO Hill. The colour that I can see is beautiful, pinky red. Absolutely gorgeous. Just where the sun's gone down, just there. And out here, it's sort of getting darker. I can't even see the difference between the horizon or anything. If I go around here, got the moon up there. It's almost a full moon tonight. Oh wow, look at that, it must be one. Hey, it's going away instead of coming to me. Very pretty. It's deciding whether to be close or not, but this focus thing's changing to suit itself. But that is really beautiful colour. Hope this comes out on top of UFO Hill. We are on UFO Hill and we are going down.
Who wants to take?
Okay. It's pretty steep. Got no idea how steep this is by just doing this. Oh, is she walking down, or is this, what gear are we in?
We're in low range first gear with the two locks on, and she's just walking down.
Not even having to touch the brake?
No.
Oh, that's brilliant. I see Jenny up ahead. Getting real steep outside here. That's why I was puffing and panting yesterday, trying to get up. All the cargo's shifting forwards, unfortunately. But there we are, we're almost down. Goodbye, UFO Hill. Still going through the Slate Range on the way to Well 26.
off in the tray.
Vehicles perched on the top of the hill and thought there was a couple of camels up there. Whoa, whoa. Two southbounders heading towards well 26, approximately 3 k's north of it. Any northbounders in the vicinity? Over. He's a bit cheeky, isn't he? This well was restored 25 years ago for the 75th anniversary of the Canning stock route, and these fellas are getting some water out. Because the chute was pretty dry and the wildlife, I think, are really looking forward to a drink. Pretty good water in here from memory.
Does say boil it before drinking.
Yeah, well in the past I've done loads of washing
Can do more.
with it. Down it goes. This is what the cattle used to drink in, of course. And this is a camel water tank. What have they done?
We were doing it again so you could film it.
Okay, well done. Yeah, they're pretty heavy those buckets, aren't they? Wonder what size buckets they are. Oh yeah, pretty good. Water tank that the camels carried. Track goes way out, up over different sand dunes, up over that one, way up over that one up there. Dune after dune. And we're zigzagging all over the place. We've just come over this crest, or we're sitting on top of the crest. Almost at well 25. This one's just in ruins, well 25. Not much left of the original well, bit of the old timbers rotting. It's all filled in with dirt where the water used to be. Jenny, you lost your flag. You found another one. And you're trying to fit it. It's a bit of a problem.
It's rather small seed.
Oh, never mind. Once you get it on, I don't think it'll ever come off.
That's right.
And we met these people with a car similar to Jenny and Carl's. And they've got major battery problems. They're not even on their radio. They're northbounders, and could have met them on a dune, but we were all looking, of course, even though we were calling out. I'm making a cuppa because we're going to be here for a while, because we're carrying a spare battery for Carl, and this fella's going to buy it from him. But in the meantime, we can't get our door open. The last dunes have wrecked the lock. And if they're going to get the battery, they've got to undo the door to get in there. And all the tools are in there as well. So this is an interesting...
Need a spare and this
The
is a
screws
control
are all
engine.
all loose, they need tightening up. We finally got it undone. Now we've got to unpack everything to get the battery. We're not that far from well 24. Passing the Talawanda track, which we've been up before. This is pretty corrugated on this bit. Just a bit more of the track, past the Talawanda track turn off, heading into 24. Well 24. Big hole. There's water, but nothing else. No machinery or drums or anything. Very funny little hills out here. What's left of this one?
Unfortunately, everyone fails here.
Doesn't matter if he's here or not, you still got to listen to it.
He won't shut up.
Just rusty stuff.
Can they spill everything
Okay, there
That's
is
Bondi.
our one.
That lizard's been drinking it.
Where's Kevin's and Leonie's?
That one's in the end. Have a look at that. Boundy, Wanderers. And then it's Bondi,
Oh.
Wanderers.
That's Kevin and Leonie's. No, hang on, that says diesel.
Here with the dent in it. This is unleaded, Jane.
This is diesel, that can't be theirs. Hang on.
Come around this end.
Is this unleaded? Oh yeah, unleaded. And so that's Kevin and Leonie, this is your petrol. And we are going to try to sell it somehow. There's just not many drums here at all compared to last time. That is amazing.
What do we got?
No, it's in.
Jeff's made a fitting so that they can pump the fuel into the containers or into their cars. So having a go at that now.
It's actually two.
Yeah.
Well, we had a quarter of a tank left. We had to calculate so that we can use as much of this diesel as we can.
This is bone dry.
So we're
There's not a
hoping to
drop
get
left in
as much of
Oh,
this as we
no.
possibly can. Okay?
Well, I would just like to say that my design of the pump there is working brilliantly.
Carla, do you need to stick that back up?
Yeah, so we're getting the fuel out and that's it. We're putting Kevin's unleaded in our diesel tanks, Kevin, and we're going to use it.
Oh, right. I don't think
We're going to
so.
run our diesel motors on his unleaded.
That's yours, Kevin. There. It's almost a full moon tonight. It took almost 2 hours to do all that diesel into the drums and into cans, and now every time we go over bumps we're worried that the cans are going to split. And the corrugations between the fuel dump and Georgia Ball where we're at were horrific. A little fire to cook our things. Can't be bothered cooking meat and that tonight, so we're both having cans of spaghetti sauce with meat in it. They're really good, with potatoes in the fire.
At Georgia Bore. The best water on the canning. And use the bore. The pump. You pump them like 2 wings. You fill up from there. It's really good water. The sun's not quite up yet. There's our two camps. And the sun's not up yet. And have a look at this. I think I'm getting it. Look at that. Very hard to hold it steady when you're so early in the morning. That's the moon. Beautiful bright night.
This is what the women do when they get to Georgia Bore or Durba Springs or whatever. No washing machines out here. We wash what we need. Got a good blowy day. The guys have put a line up. Jenny and I have done loads of washing. Oh, Jen.
This is the funnest part of the trip, I'm thinking, isn't it, Jen?
Yeah, oh
We look
yeah.
forward to this. We could hardly sleep last night.
Yeah, with anticipation.
And all our water bottles are there ready to be filled up with the best water on the Canning.
Yeah, Georgia Bore.
This is what happens when Spinifex goes up. It's got its own, okay, go. It's got its own oils. And it's amazing. We've had to move the chairs right back. We've made a little clearing to have our fire tonight. We've got away from where we were, which is a bit more private. We've had showers. We've got between trees and put the washing up. And we cleared the area, so we thought we'd burn the combustible material before we have our fire. And it's been so aggressive, the flames. I can't believe how bad it is. Crazy. The heat is just unbelievable, just from grass. It's amazing.
Rain, massive molten rain.
Incredible. Very pretty.
Molten brine.
But this is what we say, you don't stop your vehicles over this stuff,
Rain coral.
because with hot motors or hot bits of engine and hot drive shafts and all that,
It's got something in it.
you can have fires happen under your car from this stuff. It just sets fire really quick. Be very careful.
The greener it is, the more volatile.
When we've done this, we're going to have a proper fire. Jenny and I are happy. We've done all the washing, got all our clothes bags repacked and changed our sheets and all that. Oh man, the heat. Whoa. The flames went up more than 7 feet and I had to move the chair back. I was scared it was going to come sideways and get me. Anyway, this is fun. Pretty. We've only got a few k's up the track on our way to well 22 and we've seen this awful sight that we could hear people on their radios as they were coming into Georgia Bore speaking about. It was a Pajero and it happened 5 weeks ago. It looks like it's rolled and just burst into flames, and it was only 4 weeks old from what people told us. And they also said that the insurance company only covered things that were just the car, nothing that was added.
If you look closely here, it looks as though the fire started at the back of the UHF radio. May have been due to overuse. It's possible that they were a member of the Idler 4-wheel drive club.
Oh, I don't think so.
It's been sitting there, that's where it burns. They roll from here, but the doors
That's really weird, but it's awful to see what can happen out here, especially after when you notice what we did with that Spinifex last night, how it went crazy.
Those was obviously burning at one point vertically. This
That
is
has burnt to bits.
But I reckon it's either gone boom and gone over or something, because while it's hot, the doors have collapsed under heat and weight. The bottom's still Prado.
Well, guess what? It's not a Pajero, it's a Toyota something. What a shocking thing. At least they were near Georgia Bore and water.
Be underneath.
We're trying to work out how this happened. It's obviously burnt here because it's all a burnt piece of ground and bits and pieces, and the vehicle's there.
Roll a car if it exploded.
Oh yeah, that's an enormous force.
Especially if they're just filled up at the fuel dump or something.
It looks fairly dramatic. What the hell happened?
We're not sure what that's doing out in the middle of nowhere.
Rather than it being dug. I know they redug it plenty.
Yeah, I suppose the sides have just kept going in it, but I mean, why isn't it level up here? Where's it all gone?
Massive hole. Absolutely massive.
You wouldn't want to fall and then roll. I don't know what happens down the bottom there. Like what habits that
Whoops.
corrugated iron.
Well, I never. What a scary little fellow. That's how tiny he is. He's near the grass. He's got thorny nostril things.
See how big he is.
Oh, he had a go at you. He's scared. Oh, where's he
Don't
gone?
let him in the Spinifex. Let him crawl in your hand, Jen.
I've got to get him to get on there. Come here, bud. They don't bite on him, do they?
No.
I don't think he'll bite.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
I don't think he wants to be there.
Oh.
It's in his hand.
Can you hold him up to your face? Come on. Right in front of your face.
Like that?
Like you're looking at him. Yeah, that's good.
Two rugged customers.
Devil.
That was that last.
Not much of this well left. It's pretty dilapidated. Whoa. Whoa. Long way down here.
I thought maybe we'd go on and have lunch at the...
Very long. He doesn't like us out here.
Know where he's going to come.
Yeah, back on the road, I suppose, in front of us. There he goes.
We had to have one trip with a camel smack in the middle of the road that doesn't want to get off. These roads are so cut up, so bouncy and so corrugated, they are hopeless this year. He's going pretty fast, isn't he? What speed's he doing? 30 kilometres an hour. Unbelievable. He's getting into a gallop. He's got legs going everywhere.
We're stationary at the moment, I think.
Coming up to Lake Disappointment, and that looks like the remains of a camper trailer stuck out there. More debris out there. More things broken, dumped. Was that a trailer? Just left. Obviously didn't make the trip. Very pretty flowers. Massive salt lake, Lake Disappointment. Pure white. Not right. Lake Disappointment. We've been sitting under the trees and having a lovely relax.
Lake Disappointment. The sun's about to rise. We're under a stand of desert oaks.
The sun's coming up here. And just a
This is
glow
a beautiful spot. I'll remember this when we're back home.
Desert oaks.
Through these desert oaks.
Through these desert oaks.
It's built.
She's not using it productively, she's just trying to fill it, so what's the difference?
The trouble is near the end here, should take us now. Well, we play that into the TV, but either DVD or
Beautiful spot. I remember this spot from the last time we were here, and to be able to camp here, we've had some fantastic camps at on this trip. The best camps of all.
that thing.
There were camels right over there yesterday afternoon. We stopped very early yesterday, lunchtime, so we could enjoy this spot. And this is part of the track on the way into Well 20. Very pretty, a little bit bouncy for my liking, with diesel drums in the back that I am very concerned might split. But the actual track is very pretty. Must have had a fire through here. Some of the desert oaks have been burnt. Come into Well 20. It's just a rusty pile of things. I'm not even quite sure where the hole is, but there's the spot where the stock would have drunk from, the trough. That trough isn't in such bad condition actually, compared to some which have been really rusted out with holes.
Yeah, you reckon?
Well, not that bad. Well, that end is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose. But I can't even see where the well was. It's that all filled in now. No depression even. Yeah, I guess this was the well. Killer area though, with these desert oaks and the red sand. Beautiful. We have got to Savoury Creek. Looks very blue. Spot to cross. It is a salty water crossing. We just went a little bit further up to the left to have a look. Quite pretty. This is one of the crossings at Savoury Creek. Like a big mud hole. Not that deep, it was a lot deeper when we came here because the whole area was in flood. When we were here 6 years ago, because we did such huge detours around, but this is absolutely nothing, look, just a puddle. That's the second crossing of Savoury Creek, where at this point there isn't any water in it anyway. But this would be when it's flooded down further. Another way to get across, 7 k's along, and you go about 6 k's back on the other side of it and join the Canning Stock route. Oh my goodness. Savoury Creek.
Jean's favourite part of the track, I think. All the desert oaks.
Apparently they reckon there's an ice car out there somewhere. Looks more like a kangaroo to me. A big esky on top. It's a kangaroo what with an esky anyway.
With a hoop.
It's actually on one of the maps, so I'm going to read. It does say...
We aren't sure what this is, but it's at well 19. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
We found well 19 after horrific bumps and lumps in the track.
Hello, Jen. Is it brighter than normal globes?
There you go, that proves we are here.
The steel wagon shot higher is all that remains of a wagon abandoned by George Williams in 1938. He'd been attempting to take a load of stores from the Luna to Billavoona.
Poor man, that's all that's left of his wagon. There's just a bit of his tyre of his wagon wheel. Not much left. This is a bit of a salt flat.
One of our last tunes for the trip.
Okay, just after that dune, in the next couple of 100 metres we came to this. Looks like things are going to get cold from here on. Ooh.
To our rock hole.
Just got a little bit of a hollow here with some very nice
Have you got
flowers coming out of this area.
Yep, just videoing them now.
So here we have the yellow side, and
Okay, we've gone right now instead of left.
the pink side.
Okay, right.
Here they are, just heading off from a dune. Very, very nice scenery around here. Don't know where the track goes next. See a bit of it over there. Let's take a look around. Beautiful.
This is Onya something or other rock hole. Onya Gunya. Little bit of water in there. Native fig tree. Looks like a rock wallaby cove for sure. Well 18.
I tell you what, I can't work.
It's been restored.
Just like that.
So there we have a restored well. We're heading into Deeble Hills. The sun is setting, so it's pretty hard driving into the setting sun for Jeff. But the hills do look very pretty.
I'm going to pull up and we can do it.
Beautiful with the sun setting on it. We're at Deeble Hills. We come in late last night. Camped. We're going to look in at all the gorges. Camped on this really big clear area, which was great because we could have our fire without any concern. It was good sleep till we heard a plane somewhere in the middle of the night. Deeble Hills. A strange rock with a pebble stuck in it. Okay. We've come in closer to Deeble Hills. There's a spring somewhere, but we didn't find that. Very nice. Very nice.
There's the water stone here. And we've got tunnels in the rock.
We have a little beauty up on top of a rock.
Feeling a bit nervous about it actually.
Yeah, not much of a rock. pretty thin. How about that? We couldn't see that from where we stopped. On the trip into Durbar Springs from our camp this morning, I've collected 2 mud flaps that have come off the vehicle, one back, one front. One front came off already. And we get to Durbar Springs and we find out the canopy door, all the pop rivets have popped off and the door was sort of hanging out when we got here. So we have another problem to deal with. But despite that fact, this is a beautiful place. We've set ourselves up ready to enjoy a bit of a relax in Durbar Springs under the beautiful shady trees, and along the bottom of the gorge that side there is some water we can use. We wouldn't drink it, but we can use it for washing and showers and that. We're doing bush mechanics to fix this back on, at least to get us home. All of those things broke. I think I'm finding nuts and bolts from each other and from somebody else.
That one a fraction longer.
Hang on. Well, Jeff, the other thing you can do...
Could have another bolt there because that bolt has disappeared.
A button head heck.
Us girls had to hold that door up so they could put bolts through.
You can jam something under
And between us all,
to bring it up. If I'm going to drill
we've been
holes.
fixing it, and he's had to drill holes and everything. Bush mechanics have triumphed again.
You know what I reckon the problem was?
No?
I'll tell you.
It's because Jean's got this side of the storage and it's totally overloaded.
Rubbish.
These hinges are countersunk.
Mm.
The clowns have drilled through them and put rivets through them.
Yeah.
So it's like a guillotine chopping away at a rivet.
So it was the wrong thing.
They needed a flat surface straight through.
Oh.
So what I'll do is when I get home, I'll do like we've done here. Countersunk bolt with a nylock on the other side to every one of them.
Fair enough. So we can handle it.
Yeah. Hasn't stopped us. We've just thrown the door away and kept going.
Okay, Jeff's fixing a back mud flap. So we'll have 2 back mud flaps and we're not worried about the front ones until we get home. We moved camp at Durbar Springs from one end of the camp to the other, and we're having a special dinner tonight. Got roast lamb cooking in the baduri. We're heating up the kettles from the little river here to have a shower, and we've sat and had a beautiful rest today and tonight. Jenny's impressed with our table tonight. We're going to have a special dinner with candles. Unfortunately, one of the candles cracked with the corrugations. Gold candles in a brass candlesticks. We're having a special dinner with all the trimmings tonight in this lovely spot. So there's a lot of cooking and stuff going on. There we go. White shirts, black tie, evening dress, tiaras. Everyone's looking pretty great.
White shirt, bow tie.
Even had a shave. I mean, that's amazing. And we're having caviar and quince paste with brie and special figs and champagne and olives. Fantastic legs. Woohoo!
Cheers.
And Jean cheated. She cheated. She was supposed to have an evening dress, and she said that's her evening dress.
That's right. And
No.
my camping boots. And my tiara. Cheers.
We're in Durbar Springs. We're having our formal dinner. White
shirt and bow tie. Caviar, figs, and there's a waiter. We've got a couple of cooks around there. Hello, one of the cooks. And this is what Derba Springs all about. Beautiful oasis in the desert. Trees, walls either side, and always a few people in here, unfortunately, but beautiful place. Bit of water down there.
We've even got an open fire, Jeff.
We've even got a fire. There's our fire. Right, we're sitting down for the main course,
Are we ever?
and it's not much, just that.
These girls are worth their weight in gold. Check it out.
Roast lamb.
I like, do I see liqueur pork?
Smashed potato.
There's the dress, standard. Jean cheated.
Oh no.
Yeah, you cheat.
I'm
She looks
okay.
dazzling.
What happened to it?
It looks like it's been burnt through.
Well, maybe it has.
I'll glue it later.
Oh, I broke a knife. I broke a sponge. I broke this bloody water here.
Oh, I broke a nail.
This is Jane Rolls. Her husband does the dishes.
Oh, this is so good. This is very unusual. It must be the company he's keeping, I think.
We've had all the main courses, now the dessert. We've got poison berries and ice cream.
Very rich dark chocolate with choc chips and poison berries.
Lovely.
Poison berries.
It's the ambiance
And we haven't had a meal that good for 6 months
or more.
or more. Cooked that well. Even at home, even at a restaurant. We've had meat that's like leather, that was magic.
And this is so much better than Hotel Derba.
Hotel Derba, that's right. And we got poison berries.
This is the morning after the night before. Someone's got a bit of a headache. But he wants me to get these birds that are behind us.
One's come out the nest and it's gone up where the other one was.
We've got ringneck parrots. And they've been coming out of a hole in one of the trees and flying onto that branch, making a big row. I think that's where they've been coming out of, up there. Making a noise, talking. He's just flown back. We're camped right on the edge of the gorge here. Quite nice.
Last night.
Looks like Ferroprey's in vogue
Sorry,
again.
Jeff, I'm just pulling your leg.
What have you got? Is it a leaking water tank?
Yeah.
So they're going to go at plugging the
Yeah,
leak.
yeah.
Got a bunch of birds singing here.
Hold it up closer to your phone.
And here we go. Jean's cooked a loaf of bread
With Jenny's help.
at Derba Springs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well 17. Up in this gorge there's a bit of Aboriginal art. We're still trying to find the well. A couple of areas where there's a bit of running water and
Spin around.
a couple of natural wells.
Nice gorge.
I don't know how they would have got cows in here though, so maybe it was just for people. They are mongrels, those bull ants. They really hurt you when they get you. Look at his pincher things, or his big teeth, whatever they are. This is the track that was into well 17, which is not really a well, it's only a spring. It wasn't that successful anyway, but it is just absolute rocky road. Really slow going and a bit torturous. Canning's Can. Jenny's the one who's wandered up there. There isn't a defined track, so we didn't fancy rock hopping. Yeah, there she is.
So it's bigger than you think. It's 5.5 feet.
Sunday well, where Tobin and somebody else dug all night and found water on a Sunday. But they don't use this one anymore. Well, they didn't use it soon after they found it. They ended up... But when they found it, they really needed the water. Heading into the Calvert Ranges. Quite a few little choppy sand dunes, very soft sand, but a very pretty part of the track here. Very nice. I said Jenny looks like a bridesmaid for a bush wedding. We're at the Calvert Ranges and there's some Aboriginal art that we're looking at. We're trying to decide if that's a snake track.
By the way, Jeff, it was a volleyball, not a coconut. It's actually about
We aren't sure what these are.
Hey, don't pull that rock out there, otherwise this will all fall down.
As you can see here, the
This is an emu on a rock. Conglomerate rock. Chunks of it.
Look up there, Jeff.
No, don't.
They're all having a bit of a hoot. It's a bit weathered.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah, look at one.
Heaps of it. something flicking sand out. I don't know what he is. I think he's waiting for an ant or something to walk in. I don't know if he's an ant lion or a spider. But his sand keeps caving in and he has to keep on digging it out. Still working. Can't see what it is. That's it. It's a little ant lion. These,
Dingo, look, there's a dog one.
these are supposedly emu footprints, but because of the way the light is, it's, oh yeah, I think we're getting them. Where's the dog one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm getting it. Oh yeah, I'm starting to get it. It's very hard with where the sun is though to be able to pick it. Yeah, they are strange. I haven't seen them. And I haven't seen these things around either. Yeah.
There's some more emu footprints.
Where? Oh yes. They've actually etched into the rock, aren't they?
Yeah.
These are a bit different. They're not just painted.
There's another one that's chipped. Emu footprints.
A lot of them are chipped in.
Oh, there's some on that there. You can see it well on that.
Where?
On that rock there. There's some.
Oh yes. Those funny markings. Yeah.
And
So-
then they've painted the emu ones. Look, there's a row of them like that.
Yeah, that's true. Fascinating. Things over there too. Everywhere you look here, there's things to look at. I don't know what that is.
Out there, there's paintings on the roof here.
There's things what?
Actually, there's a good, before you let it run out, there is a good mimic spirit thing.
We are circumnavigating the Calvert Range. Come to a spot where there's very high spinifex, which would have been nasty to camp in. Lucky we had a lovely area.
Not to say dangerous, if it caught fire,
Yeah,
going like a rocket.
that's right. The edge of this Calvert Range. Beautiful. Massive boulders. There's a group of camels all enjoying their company of each other. Yeah, out there. They must have sneaked in to get some water from somewhere. Thought we heard some in the night, but we didn't see any. I think they might have seen the vehicles and thought, uh-oh, someone else is here. It's about 6 of them out there together. One of those back brothers was jumping up in the air. Got all excited or something. Well, 16.
Dropped.
seem to have dropped down. Obviously
Obviously
abandoned.
quite a lake underneath and the dirt's eroding
Troughs
and
down
disappearing
there.
into the water system.
It was usable, but not anymore.
Yeah, saw that on the way in.
Trailer.
Perfect.
This is Rankin's trolley. He didn't get very far and he realised the tyres were just getting stuck in the sand, so he dumped the trolley. Oh well.
Marzipan grevillea.
This is marzipan smelling grevillea. Very pretty. We came over a sand dune and we see this sign. What a joke. There's been a million of them. These little flowers are all along the centre of the track. We filled up all of our water bottles that were empty, which was quite a lot. We only had 3/4 of a crate left, so there was 2 1/4 crates that had to be filled. And the water in this well is quite good. And the well's been restored, so 2 groups in here and they used a canvas bag. I think Jeff worked with them to get the water out for us. I go. Quite boggy at the sides of these little salt pans. Well 14, somebody's got a sense of humour. I don't know, we've got a bit of troubleshooting going on. There's something not quite right and they don't know what, so they're trying to see what's happened. Carl's taken the panhard rod out that's busted and it has to be welded. So it's better to take it off, weld it and then put it back than try and do it in place.
You move from left to right? I don't want a stationary weld, I don't want to move.
Okay, what are we looking at?
Looking at a round thing and a long straight thing.
Right.
I think this is a bush in the middle of the sleeve, which goes on down to the longy thing, which is a pan hard rod. So just follow the rod. Follow the rod. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. Right. Now you've just panned hard.
Oh, don't be stupid. So that has to be welded back on?
Yeah, on there, like that.
And are you thinking that the other one's got a little bit of a stress on it or something and needs
looking at? The other
looking
one's
at?
got a crack on it. See this?
Where? Oh, I'm trying.
In the sun. There, where the rust is.
Oh dear. So that's got to be done before it actually falls off. He's making the mask so that he can obviously see when he welds. We bought the little glass and he's making the mask to fit the glass. Well, Carl and Jen, with a bit of help from Jeff and I, pushed those bush things out so that the welding can be done. They used the bull bar to do it and the jack and all that. And that has to be welded on. Water's ready in case we have any sparks that we have to deal with. The welder's ready and his apprentice helping him. Everything's organised.
No, it's all right.
Don't watch where you're doing.
I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think this will matter. I'm not going to really look. Spot welding, tack welding first. Put it in position before the real stronger welding gets done.
Not happening.
What is it that comes off when you hack at it like that?
Just the flux, yeah. Just roll around. It's not going anywhere.
Smelting your crack.
The other end had a crack in it.
Just use up your rod on that last.
So he's fixing that so it doesn't get worse. That's the finished article. Looks all shiny and new now with lumps on it.
Guaranteed 5 metres or 5 minutes.
Alright, show us the other end now. You did a little touch-up job on it, didn't you?
Crack in it.
Yeah, he wanted to touch me up too.
Oh, don't talk stupid.
He said he wanted to weld my brain.
This is pushing the bushes back into the newly welded part.
I'll just back off a sec, please. and go again. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, well, back. Slowly. Keep going.
Is it going to pop?
A bit more. No, it'll be fine. A little bit more.
That's what I
And
was-
stop. Okay, keep going. Stop. Back.
It's the second
Slowly.
one. Second one I put in.
Just a tad more, Jim. Okay, thing. Okay, off. And stop. Back. Come up again, and a little more. Back off, and down.
Well, Carl's put all the parts back again, and I think he's happy with that it's all back together. Hopefully all will be well now. Our vehicles are going really well now. We had a nice camp in a really bushy spot. Beautiful fire last night. The mornings are getting cooler now. This was a good well, but obviously not anymore. Burnt out Land Rover on the track. Been here for quite a few years.
You got that?
The molten things here.
That.
This is You Pull It, out in the Canning. It's got new doors on it. Brilliant.
What the hell's that? Tree roots.
Where?
In there.
What, right in there?
Outside.
Oh, wow. We're going to try out the Well 12 water because we all want a nice shower tonight and we'll use that much, the whole lot of us. So we'll see what the water's like. No problem for a shower, whatever it is.
Okay, Jim. Do you want to splash anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Water collection.
Has it gone in?
Yep.
Can't see through this.
Yeah, it's going down.
Oh, got it. Yeah, it wasn't in focus and it's come beautifully. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get too much.
Excellent. Oh,
Not
well,
as good as the
try a
girls
few
collecting
times.
water.
Yeah, we do it good, don't we, Jen?
There's the slightest bit of instruction. You can't throw the bucket down there without a knot in the road.
Oh dear. How full are you filling?
Pour it all in.
Another one? Yeah?
See if we can catch a big one, Jeff.
Don't jump! Don't jump!
Bloody hell. It's not light when it's full, it's it?
No, I didn't see that. You right?
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, it's making me want to go to the toilet.
Okay.
Oh. Oh.
Where's the lid?
In my pocket.
Top it up.
Yeah, why not? Stop the swishing. Yeah, see if you can get exactly half a bucket this time, Jeff.
He did.
It's a bit less.
Wind blew it then.
Oh, that's full, I think.
Floated it.
Overfloated it. Oh,
Oh
gee.
no, I didn't mean that.
Oh,
It'll go down, it'll drop. I meant to go like that. Hang on, it's in. Loads of dirt here. How did I get dirt here?
with a broom.
It'll settle down.
It will not settle down.
It'll go to the bottom.
Oh, will you two settle down?
No, the lid.
No,
See
the
that
leg
lid? It's
Yeah.
constructed wrong.
Something's moved, hasn't it? That's it.
Yeah, if you just stand there, Jeff, it'll be all right.
I'll just stay here forever.
Where's the thing?
The what?
Thing.
The lid. Yeah, I'll take the bucket now. Lake Aerodrome.
These are the most southern stand of desert oaks, and they say on the map that we're running out of them. They're my favourite tree in the desert. We're about 7 k's from well 11, heading south still, and it's a bit scrubby out there. There's a few wildflowers though, some nice little bright sparks, and some dead things all round as well. Still intact. I mean, it's a bit ruined, but it wouldn't take too much to restore. But the water's really off. Ah, great looking vehicle over there. Not much of this one left at all, just a bit of rusty stuff and a little pile of wood. There is some water down there, but it isn't very good looking. I guess if you're really desperate you could get some out. Oh, where am I looking? This is where you find the water. Down there. Can't see it very good though.
Looking at GPS, you would have flipping well known.
Uh-huh. A lot of silly nonsense behind me. What do I hear?
Take that with you, Jenny.
Really?
A monster. Oh, look what we saw. Emus with little chickies. Oh, the baby's gone behind something. I can't see it. Well 9. It's been restored by the look of it. Definitely. Hello, Mr. Camper.
G'day.
Nearly at the end of your trip, you know. There's the mummy emu with her little babies.
It's one of the most significant wells on the whole of the track.
Well 9 is near Glen Isle Station. It's a few k's away. People can use that track to get off of the Canning if they want. Their cows like this area because they've got plenty of water.
like that. Where all this? Did that before in 2000. Not much of a fall, but I suppose.
Just a bit of protection against hostile aborigines. I guess it was on a little bit of a rise to give them a bit of an advantage.
Very fluffy.
Very naive.
It's in a bit of ruin.
That's mud.
Very deep one, that. This was a bit dangerous. If you slipped off the edge here, which is for sharp edges, you fall straight through that and fall in the water, which there is some down there. Don't know how nice it is though.
Butcher birds along that way. Come around every morning. Not the same butcher birds, of course. Sing their songs. There's one.
This is Pierre Spring, well 6, fully restored, with a lovely camping area. A lot of work gone into it. A lot of bird life around here too. This is a good indication of the southern end of this canning, near well 6. Pretty rocky, and channels and a few corrugations.
On Ingabong Hill. And Jean's just sitting there having a bong. Or an Inga. One or the other.
There's no bringing a bong up Ingabong.
That's pretty high.
Too nice a joint.
Bye, oh bye. That's the vehicles. Up on Ingaloo Hill. Climbed up. I'll try and go around 360 slow. But if Jean doesn't push me off this rock, stay down low there. Gives you an idea of the vastness. Bit of a can someone's put on here. Round, round, around. And I'll go down to our track, which is somewhere down there. I think that's it there. Canning Stock Road. Hope I'm on it.
This is like a bonsai garden on Ingibong Hill. Pretty quaint. Black boys are flowering around this area. There's a whole heap of them. A bit more of the track. Heading to well 5. A very bright well. Number 5. Wow, 2004. Those birds might be wanting us to pour water in this.
At well 5. Going to pay $30 for a karma trader to get out of here.
These little beauties are in the middle of the track. Well 4B. Not much left. It's pretty dilapidated. A few old bits of wood around it.
It chooses the film speed.
All overgrown. We're at Windage Springs. It looks like we found a little kingfisher. He comes up and sits on that branch to see what we're up to. Very bright little fellow. I'm having trouble standing still, holding this still. He's only small. This is where we are.
Somebody go and put it in the hand next to him, give you size. I wouldn't be surprised. This is not
Yes, we camped here last night. It's really pretty. Very pretty. It's getting closer all the time. Foray. Very old. Look at that big pole for pulling up the buckets. I don't know what that's really called. I don't know if it's part of the windlass or what they call that. Whipping pole or something, I don't know. But that's pretty derelict. Oh, it's still got a trough there though. I wonder, is there water? Yeah. Well, if you're desperate, I guess you'd
get it out and boil it.
go for it. And yeah, as Jeff said, you'd boil it. We've got Pura tablets. We've never had to use them, but we've got them. Can see some water shining down there. Way down. It's right next to a dry riverbed. We're travelling along the edge of some of these salt flats and salt lakes. I don't even know what this one's called, but we're on a southerly road on the way to well 3A. Someone's dug some holes out there and we aren't quite sure why, so Jeff's gone to investigate. The vegetation has changed to these pink bushes along the track. this is the road or badly eroded track out to well 4, which is eroded as well. I mean, you know, no, not used. And it says not to go out, and I would say we could be fined or whatever, so it's a bit silly pushing it to well 4 when it's obvious we can't go. So that's where it is up there, around in amongst us. So this is well 3A.
Okay, we're off on our adventure, which may or may not be successful. We're going to look for well 4. We have to go around the road closed signs to do it. So we'll just see what we find.
Well, they soon came back because they didn't find anything out there. Stunted trees, they look like little bonsais. We're at well 3. It's a bit of a hard one to read. Big tree grown up right near it since it was made. We have a snake living in the bottom of the well. There's a bit of him sticking out of the side. There's a dead frog down in there. He obviously eats whatever's down in there. What do you think he is? A python?
I don't know, he was swimming in the water before.
Was he? We must have scared him then. And the daylight's given him a freak.
Oh.
He's having a look. He's looking to see what we're doing. He's probably having to breathe as well, eh? Oh, he put his body in.
Slippery sucker.
I think you'll keep moving.
Gone. Just hanging on now and thinking about it. Hello, what now? Woo-hoo, he's coming back. He's coming up. Maybe he's after a frog.
Yeah, that looks
He's trying to work his way up. But he's sort of green with a reddish tail.
Oh, look, Jim. It's coming all the way up.
Disappears, I'm disappearing.
He's working his way up from this well. He's got a long way to go. It's a very rocky part of the track. We've been climbing over rocks and breakaway bits. Slowed us down a bit. Oop. The granites, well 2A. It's a big hole in the ground with loads of rocks around it. And a big trough. I can hear lots of birds. They've got to be, oh yeah, it's full of water. That's what the birds are going on about. They're heading towards well. This is a very rocky area here. Heading towards well 2. I messed up the last little bit of floor. Give a jump up there. I messed up the last bit of tape. But I'm going again, as I said, heading towards well 2. Pretty rocky outcrops. Have a look at those rocks out there. And all at the sides. Pretty little flowers, like a carpet. Well, I think this is well 2. Jeff is taking the Spinifex wire off. That's in case we caught fire or too much Spinifex is underneath and you can pull it out with this little tool he's made. And this is the sign at the end. We still got a couple of wells to look at, but basically this is the Canning stock route that we're getting onto more of a station track or a proper outback road. Jenny and Carl are considering going back to Windage Springs and looking for well 4 because we had trouble finding it and we just couldn't find it yesterday from the south old road that's non-existent, but there's one up the top that they might be able to go in and come out on. Coming down. Oh, our flags have all been taken down. We got to North Pool, which is heaps cleaner than it was when we came here before. It was rubbish and muck everywhere. We've found Bill and Ben. We've been tagging with them all the way along the Canning. So, yeah, this is different this time. They even got rubbish bins over here. And clean. Well, here we are at well number 1. Not much left of the windmill. Still got water there. Coming into Wiluna, this is the end of the stock route that we've been following all the wells and some of the pools. And this is the town. It's good to see a town. So I guess we'll be going to the shop to get a few more supplies and things and have something that we haven't had for a while, which is like, for me, salads and things. Yeah, so it's been a good trip. It's taken us, how many days? 21 or 22?
Well, we're on the 22nd day.
22nd day, it's not even lunchtime, WA time. Okay. Mummy, Emu and all the little babies just ran straight across the highway. Had a dozen of them.